All right, we're in, dude. Holy crap. What a day. There we go. Beautiful. I think everything's good. What is going on, boys? You guys having a great day? What is this notification? All right, let's. I gotta pull this up. I got on the game. Let's do one arena and then we'll hop into the patch notes. Like, figure this out. As we have to be able to port it all up. Here. I think we got it. Dude, they're adding a lot of. I'm just thinking. They're adding a lot of new things come season 10. The perk changes are crazy across the board. In the video, I didn't have enough time to go over each and every one of them in super detail. But on stream, I thought I could dive a little bit deeper in and see exactly what's going to be really strong and weak compared to the perks we have in season 10. As there is a few perks that are looking quite, let's just say, overpowered. So we got to, I need to close this. I have to close Photoshop. It's lagging my computer. Oh yeah, I also turned up my settings on New World. I was taking some screenshots. Turn that down again. To watch my game lag, dude. From very high to medium. Yo, shadow quality has to be low. What else is low? Where's lighting effect? Lighting detail. Sucks, man, but can't stream this game and play it on the top settings. Welcome in, boys. Hope you guys are all having a great day. The second get everything set off, we can jump into the patch notes. You guys have any questions? Feel free to ask. As there is a lot to break down. In terms of content and overall just loot, dude. There's so much crap. I think I got everything set up, boys. We gotta change that as well. I'm actually not gonna get into arena before I set it all up. That's crazy work. Now we have to somehow open up my vertical source. Okay, let's go. I have to add a source capture, browser capture. No, it's not this one. What the fuck is that? Yeah, let's put that there. There we go. We got it up. It's on stream. Yeah, there it is. Are you about to talk about the patch note? Yes, Cassidy, I was. I was just seeing if I get into a game before before I could set it all up on my secondary monitor. We're not going to talk about the everything. Of course, it's a waste of time. But there is a lot of interesting stuff in here, so let's go break it down one by one. So they are changing healers a bit. I thought this was interesting, but it's not going to really do anything. It feels like irrelevant stuff. And then this is the scaling. We don't really care about this stuff. Attributes. Removing this con passive is spicy, to say the least, but it's not that bad. Thank you for the follow up. We're going to skip most of this stuff. We're going to head straight down to the actual perks and fixes. This one seems really strong though. Phantom Blades. They didn't say exactly what they wanted to do here in terms of damage per second, but if it's the way I'm thinking, this could be very good or very mid, depending on how often it procs. Because in systems like this, where the blade has to proc every 0.5 seconds, that would be nice. Instead of every 1 second, it'd make it much stronger, but I have no idea. So we have all these perks, gems, trinkets. And let's go down. So let's go over the sets, dude. That reminds me of Void Gauntlet Blade mod. Really? Well, welcome in, CD Trojan 14. Well, hope you're having a great day, dude. Welcome in. So let's break it down, boys. If you have any questions or suggestions, or you can feel free to give your own input in. In Rage set, I think this set's going to be heavily meta next patch. Like, very broken, in my opinion. If you just read it right, hitting a target within 13 meter gets a stack of enrage. This increases your outgoing damage by 1% and increases attackers' base damage by 0.5. Like, this is an absolutely disgusting like combination on its own. And there's really no downtime. There's no negative to this, except this perk right here, right? This is where it gets negative. While you're below 70% health, you'll lose 5% of your max HP, but you'll be stacking so much damage that it won't really matter. What I want to know is if you compare this with a health stacking build in Season 10, I feel like this is going to be very strong. I want to at least try it. Life stealing and health, to me, seems very good paired with this for many different reasons. One, you just get so much flat damage, right? You get 25% plus an additional 12.5. Increase attacker space. Yeah. Oh, this is the attacker. So you're taking more damage, but it should be okay. The 25% base damage increase, and while below 70%, you also deal 8% extra. So in total, you're doing 32% extra damage. That is a lot of damage, especially when you pair it with certain weapons that have a lot of survivability built into it, like a greatsword or even something like the rapier, where you have evade, riposte, and fléché, and you can use iframes to avoid a lot of damage. Or you can pair this with something like the blunderbuss, right? And so you'll never miss, and you'll always be proccing this consistently over the course of a fight. And then the infixed perks that pair with this thing are absolutely broken. I really want to try Leech here, like 20% lifesteal. You're going to be constantly going up and down between 70%. To give you a good amount of like damage and survivability mixed in. CZ Trojan just logged off for the day, dude. Do you have a good day? You hyped for Season 10, my brother? You getting ready, dude? Got all your trophies and quests logged in? Me, I'm too lazy. I just don't have the time. Tomorrow, I'll be streaming more as well. Some PvP there here and there, and you go over the patch notes one more time. They also have Trenchant and Rage. This is really good. Like, this is so many good things with this set, dude. It feels like this set got the most attention. This one's okay. It's whatever. The haste is nice here as well because everyone loves to run fast, right? We're all addicts. But definitely these two passives mixed in with the already insanely high damage you get 52% base damage, dude, from this set. That's insane. Like, there is no way to get that kind of damage in the game right now. And it's on one set alone. This is not even applying all the other damage modifiers we're going to get. You can say it has a really big negative with this 70% health, but this life stealing, if you pair that with Blood Drinker, if you pair that with a good HP pool, this will be very broken. This one, I guarantee, will be the first set that gets nerfed. No trophies, never really had any other than the ones I've gotten from drops. You got the green ones or the blue ones? What is this thing? Then we have Second Wind. Well, exhaust, you'll do 20% more base damage and exhausted enemies within 5 meters. And then if you hit someone, you'll remove a slow. I think this one's also good due to the fact that certain weapons excel while exhausted. Like Greatsword, you can be exhausted and still play the game just fine. So the fact that you're exhausted isn't too big of a deal. And you pair this with Crescent Wave, right? Crescent Wave can still launch out that projectile while you're in melee range, and you can absolutely nuke people in close quarters. CT Chosen says, I think both green and blue, but I think I'm ready for season 10. I'm 725, but not there yet. Just need to upgrade my Toon Leather pants, and you'll be 725. So you're fully prepped, dude. I'm over here in the same gear I've been running for months. We just do not care. The life stealing and power, by the way, for the second one seems solid. I think it seems like a good set, just nowhere near as strong as Enraged. Very oversight, I think this set is. You have the healing sets, Protect, Blessing, and this one more, Focus set. I'm not going to really go over these. They're just going to be meta for healers. They're kind of irrelevant. You have the Overcharge set, which is good because Rend is irrelevant. For most builds, it's 4% is such a minor amount where you get 5% base damage. The only major downside of this is you have to be within 5 meters. It has a 5-second cooldown. You can get it up to 5 and also increases your stam. So if you're able to stay in close quarter combat, so just high sticky weapons, will be using this one. Almost, but I got pretty overwhelmed with these patch notes. I just started playing again this week. Yeah, dude, there was a lot of, this is the most patch notes I think I've ever seen in New World Eternum history. When I started reading them, dude, I was like, oh, this, I expect like less than half of this for a patch note for New Worlds, but there's so much in here to digest and just think about, man. It's absolutely insanity. Thank you guys so much for the follows. I'll check this out here in a sec. I really do appreciate it. Elemental Charge set, I think the set also seems pretty bad. And then the Stifling set. This one seems very good in certain situations, as you silence your target for 2 seconds and yourself for 1 second. This will be very good for closing out kills. I don't know where you're going to see this, if it's in OPR or Wars. I don't think it's going to be much of a 1vx type of build, as silencing yourself for 1 second is usually more detrimental to yourself if you're outnumbered than if you're trying to 1vx or 1v1. 1v1s, this could be strong. I'm not sure exactly how strong this set's going to be. It's going to really come down to how consistently you're able to proc it. Because the proc is your active ability. Weapon abilities are on cooldown to proc it. So once again, I think it's going to be very weapon dependent. A lot of these sets are heavily dictated on what weapons you're going to be using. So, and something else to note here is there's no range for this set. So you don't have to be within 5 or 10 meters to proc this. Which means range could definitely use and abuse this, especially more than melee. I can see ranged abusing this pretty hard. I don't think it's going to be much of a melee set. More of a range set, but I could be wrong. Stuff like the musket where you only put 2 perks and run, what's that gem called? The Moonstone gem could use this very well. None of it makes sense to me. I'm brand new. I'm level 49 at the moment. The solo possum dude, don't worry. You can still enjoy the game, man. You don't have to be out here trying to dissect the insanely long essay of paragraphs. The tenacity set here seems kind of mid. I wouldn't really worry about this one as well. Some of the infixes are really good though, right? That's massive. Like the 10% damage absorption here. 5% increased damage to a target. And the 50% stamina regen is also nice. Overall, I can see a lot of people trying out Enraged. I think Second Win will have a lot of people trying to test this one and see how good it is. This one's more up in the air of how broken this one will be. It comes with really good infixes, and the base stats are strong. It's just the condition of being within 5 meters is yet to be discovered of how limiting that's going to be with the slow on you. But then they give you a perk that removes the slow if you dodge into it. So this one is a very hit or miss. I think this one will be strong though. The healer sets will just be good as well. Let's go down to standalone and fixes. There's some in here that are solid, but the one that I think is going to be hands down the most overpowered one is this one. Close quarters. Absolutely looks broken beyond belief. And I think it's going to get nerfed very fast. I'm a returning player. I started playing back in 2020, Trojan says, or 2021. Whenever the game had its first release. Oh, dude, you're an old player. You played back in the days, the good old days. The back when New World didn't have anything. And the rolling was so clunky. But if I was a range player, dude, I'm telling you guys, if you're range, you have to pick up this perk. Where is it? I lost it, dude. Close quarter. You should be grabbing this perk. This is single-handedly going to be the best perk in Season 10. I think so. This thing looks beyond broken. You pair this with Blunderbuss, you just kill people instantaneously. You never miss on Blunderbuss. They're always within 10 meters of you, and it's or musket or bow will just use this passive phenomenally, like no other weapon in the game. And I really think this one is going to get nerfed in a month or two. Maybe 15 or 10. This one's too overtuned. Enchantments here. This one you can't tell because they haven't even given the percent. Thwarting stun. This one seems good as well because when you hit a target with active grit or when they're can't be CC'd, you deal 5% increased base damage and gain a stack of thwart. Melee heavy attacks consume 10 stacks and you stun them. This one seems very good, but I don't know if it's going to be more sought after than something like Close Quarters, or there's another one in here that's very good as well. This one, Adrenaline Burst. I think this one will be good on a lot of builds, especially paired with the Enrage set. That's what I would be running. Adrenaline Burst with Enrage, because 20% crit chance is nasty, dude. They have a lot of health limitations for these perks, and I want to see how much health I can stack and then how much damage I can deal still with all these damage multipliers that you're going to be able to acquire. So I think Adrenaline Burst paired with Enrage set, and there's a few other things that I want to get with it, but that seems right now heavily what I want to try. Especially when you pair this with something like Hatchet and you have Undefying Death. You can't even die, dude. You have a free life. And that extra 20% crit chance is massive, dude. But maybe I'm overthinking this one. It won't be good on every build. Poison Affinity. This one's also going to be very good, I think, because if Rune Glasses can still apply poisons in Season 10, then you'll basically be doing a flat 15% extra damage. I'm not sure if they'll change that. Revive. This one is also broken for PvE. You just res the dead player with 300 focus. This made me think they're going to bring back down for PvP, but I highly doubt that. If they do, though, this perk would be everywhere. Like, that's most of the broken ones, I would say. There's a few bad ones in here, but I won't cover them as much as they're just not worthwhile, such as this one, Shredding Backstab. This one's so bad in my opinion. Negative 20% less crit damage. Oof, that is so low, dude. Then you got the defensive slots. So Freedom and Vigor and Invigorating, these all roughly stayed the same. The values slightly shifted, but not enough to where I would say it's too big of a deal. Shirking Heals will definitely still be meta, as 200 health and 1.2% of your max health is very strong. What's our values right now? I think it's 250, 1.5. So it's a little nerf across the board, but everything's getting nerfed, so it's okay. Jordan says OG player, dude. You're an OG. Nice. The OG rat, dude. Yeah, Fortify. This one could be good with the Fortifying perk because that one got increased. So Fortifying could be really strong and it stacks, right? So you could have heavy fortification builds in medium. You pair that with something like tumblers and you can get a lot of Fortify stacking now. So that could be another very strong build, is the Fortifying build. I can see it coming in Season 10 where you just stack Fortifying out the ass, we'll say. Because you can get it from your earring, right? Your Fortifying Toast, that's 20%. You have tumblers. You have dodge rolling, gives you Fortify. And then if you stack this longer, you can have almost permanently up to 70% extra Fortify. Like, that is insane already. So this could be very meta. Sacreds, whatever, right? Divines got nerfed for our healing builds, boys. We are very sad about this, but it's okay, as there is a bit of life stealing. Anointed lifesteal got buffed, I believe, by almost double, right? And it stacks to 7%. So if we stack this 5 times, we get 35% additional healing from lifesteal. That's looking very good. Very good. Grit Ward is okay, but Enchanted Ward did get a nerf by half. So this is the one where I can't tell really how strong Enchanted's going to be. If there's one perk I cannot grasp is Enchanted Ward. I think it still could have a place, but it just looks so much lower. Put that in perspective, this was cut in half, but Shirking Heals was cut by 20%, right? Well, 20%-ish. So 20% versus 50%. And Shirking Heals, in my opinion, was already the second, one of the second or third best perk in the entire game for PvP. Where Enchanted Ward got it by 50. So I now think Shirking Heals will be higher priority than Enchanted. Unless you're PvEing, of course. PvEing, I think Enchanted will always just be meta. No matter what. Potent. These are status. These are energizing. Exhausts. Those are solid. You have Toast. There's a debuff. Here's Kingly Fortify. This one's very strong as well. 20% Fortify for 5 seconds on critical hit. This paired with where's this? Like, you can get 10. Let's say you stack this 3 times, 30%. You get 6. This almost has 100% uptime, right? It has 7-second cooldown. So you can almost get this 100% uptime. Maybe you'll have 1 to 2 seconds downtime. But you'll have a consistent 20% from this perk, a consistent, I think it's 15% or it's 18% from tumblers. That it will give us 37% in total. And then if we pair that with the fortifying toast, I think it's 15 or 20%. It's 58% there, and there's still more perks that can give us fortify. So it's getting insane, dude. Like, I think fortifying could be a very meta build next patch. And that might be the way you go tankiness now instead of enchanted, which in turn will make medium and heavy even more broken, and light will be worse. Which is good depending on what type of armor set you'll be running. The harnessing stays whatever, stays the same. Nothing much to be said there. But enchanted here, this is where it gets interesting, as you can actually stack this on 5 pieces, so you get 10% flat damage on light and heavy attacks. So you can get 30% damage here, or even higher. I mean, not 30. What's 5 times 2, dude? Well, 11%, and then you have the perk up here. Where is it? Close quarters, 20%. Now we're at 35%. Oh boy, we're starting to cook. That's 35% additional damage, and we've just hit the tip of the iceberg. Because remember, if you guys have watched my other videos, I don't know if you have, but we know for a fact Keen can stack. And if Keen can stack, I would bet money that Vicious can stack. And if Vicious can stack 5 times, that is 15% crit damage. Like, what the? 15% crit damage on top of this? Like, I really think Vicious and Enchanted are going to be used together, or Skill Enchantment, depending on what type of weapon you're using. But for me, it would be Enchanted and Vicious. Keen Chance is nice, but the one major downside of Keen is if you ever hit someone in the back or you ever hit a headshot, right? Keen is useless. And because of that reason, I've always preferred Vicious over Keen, but certain weapons use Keen better than Vicious. Just depends on the weapon you're using. But I can definitely see Vicious and Enchanted being the top 2 offensive slots next patch. I think there's one more in here that's actually really good. Vorpal, Rogue. I think Rogue's just not worth running, dude. Like, why would you ever run Rogue over Vicious? Unless you're PvEing. Pen Backstab here. I don't think it's worth, dude. Like, Vicious just better. And you have all the durations have gone up here. And powers last longer. Alacrity is nice. Leeching. This one got nerfed, dude. By a lot. By 3%. But now you can stack it 5 times. So it's 20%. So if we stack 20, 20, 20, we have right now in the game, at least I can get 60% additional healing per hit. That sounds like a fun build. I don't know about you guys, but hitting somebody and healing for 60% of your damage, oh dude, I am hyped to make the best life-stealing build in the game. I don't really care about hitting. Well, we can do a bunch of stuff in Season 10. I can maybe try and go max damage, or max life-stealing, or max 1vx, or max like just pure raw domination type of build, but I cannot wait to try leeching with the new setup. We have Keenly Jagged here. This one is also nice, but it's okay. And then Keenly Empower. These ones have already been in the game. We don't need. This seems solid. I don't think you can stack these, so maybe you'll want 1 Keenly Empowered or 1 Jagged on yourself. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do it, but I know for a fact I want to try stacking 5 leeching. If I can, I would want 5 enchanted, because every weapon I use is enchanted. Then if I could, I go 5 vicious. For defensive, I want to rock shirking 100%. I think shirking is really broken. In here, enchanted ward still could be an option. And I think Keenly Fortify, if I'm running medium, will definitely be something I want. Because this is a 1 perker, I'm pretty sure. You just slot. This is definitely worth 1 perk slot. If you're running medium or heavy. This will 100% be on every build. I get maybe even light it's worth it. I would have to do the calculation. But this might even be worth it on every light build. It's just such an overtuned perk to my opinion. So we'll have to wait and see. And then we'll have to do the math on Anointed Lifesteal as well. Because if we stack that 5 times, it gives 35%. I'll have to do the math to know exactly which one's better. Stacking this or stacking... Where is it? Lifestealing. Oh, this pass. Leeching. Which one's better depending on how I set up my build? Which one will actually technically give me more healing? That's more of a calculator problem. But I'm pretty sure it'll just be flat leeching. And then we go into the skill weapons. Now, I didn't go over this much on the videos because it's just, a lot of it's the same crap across the board. But there was, like, I wish I had the old ones. Something else you got nerfed is Empowering Shooting Stance. I know this one got buffed. It now has 4. It used to be 5 stacks, and the damage goes up to 14. This is a big buff for musket rats. In the old OPR map, dude. Sitting on top of the rock, permanently in shooter stance. This could be a problem. Stopping power, this one's nice, but nothing in here is too massive. What the big thing is for me is they really nerfed spear this patch. Like Javelin got gutted by about half. Cyclone also got gutted by more than half, dude. This is probably the biggest nerf I've seen in Season 10. It's got nerfed by like 57% or something. Like my Cyclone right now heals for 60%. This is such a huge nerf. It's really disheartening. Me and my friend just downloaded this. Any recommendations on what weapons to use? We're going to 1v1 each other a lot. If you're going to 1v1 each other, since Season 10's coming, I don't know, dude. But if you want to have one of the strongest 1v1 builds, is usually Ice Gauntlet Fire Staff, as that gives you good burst damage. You force rolls with the abilities, and you can reset the fight whenever you want with Tomb. Ice Pylon is also insanely strong in a 1v1 because it acts as half a player. I would probably say Fire Staff, Ice Gauntlet, very skillful 1v1. It's all about timing, accuracy, and everything. And it's only really gets countered by Musket, I believe. Musket, because Musket can outrange you. But if the Musket ever walks into range of that, they'll just lose. It's a very strong build. And Season 10 looks like it's going to be very strong as well. Cool. Thanks. Or you can go melee. If you like melee, I recommend going melee as well. Either one works. Mr. Sir Alec, thank you for the follow. I would assume. Thank you for the follow, brother. Greatly appreciate it. We're keep yapping about the patch notes. This one really made me sad, though. Leeching Cyclone is so dead, dude. Such a big nerf. I don't know why. Makes no sense to me why they got nerfed so hard. Pref rate also got changed. I believe this used to give you fortify. Now it gives you more damage. So maybe for me, we could try running a preferate skewer bleeding sweep build. I might still run Cyclone because it gives you so much stam. But dude, this is just so rough to look at. Volclick, who cares about Volclick? Such a bad ability, dude. This needs to be reworked, in my humble opinion. It's so useless. Then bow, like the weaken here is still high. I think it's around 26 right now. Might be a bit higher. Yo, Lithium, thank you for the sub, brother. Welcome in, dude. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you for the sub, man. Greatly appreciated. We're just theorizing about the patch notes and what I think is good. Spear sucks. Whatever. I think bow stay mainly the same, so we'll skip bow. Rapier, I think Leeching Flurry is going to be very broken next patch. 30% damage reduction for 4 seconds is so valuable. Especially with Flurry's cooldown being so loaded. You could have this up so much. It's insane. And there's a perk in Season 10 that increases your... what do you call it? The durations on you by like 10%. So I think compared with that, this flurry is going to be so good, dude. Everything else basically stayed the same. Except Flechet, they made it actually deal more damage instead of a cooldown, which is cool for a bit of burst damage. Life Staff got changed, but I don't know anything about Life Staff perks. We don't play that here. Fire Staff, I think this Pillar perk will be now on every Fire Staff in the entire game, as simply put, dude, that 20% slow is busted for kiting. And then I'm pretty sure everything else remained very similar or close to the same, except Burnout. It got a bit of a change here with 26% damage to targets with burn, which you'll always be burning somebody. And that's going to be for some good burst damage. I don't think it's going to be like meta defining, but this will. Firestaff got a lot of buffs through perks actually. Crippling, that's a buff, and the Burnout's a buff. So they got 2 buffs. Sword and Shield up here, like Sword and Shield actually got nerfed like across the board. Every perk in here got nerfed, dude. Which is weird because I don't even think Sword and Shield's that good right now. I think there's so many better weapons in the game. I think Great Axe is better, Great Sword's better, Musket's better. People I think were just complaining too much about SNS and they nerfed it too much. I think it's gonna be pretty dead next patch. You know what didn't get nerfed though? Flail. Flail got a big buff, dude. Very big buff. Refreshing Charge though for Great Axe. This one got this thing alone makes this ability like way better. That you can pass through allies. The damage is nice, but just the fact that you can pass through allies and enemies when sprinting forward gives you an uncanny amount of survivability that we've not seen since the spinning move from Tempest Fury. But now every Great Axe has this, and you can't even body block anymore. That's not a big deal for 3v3s, but for OPR and War, this one will be meta defining. The Reap got nerfed by a lot, but it's okay. X got nerfed by a lot as well. Whirlwind, I'm not sure exactly if this was nerfed by how much. Maelstrom stayed the same, which is really strong. It feels like all the weakens and debuffs in the game, by the way, have stayed like really close to the same. Like the weakens still are weakening and turning into a wet noodle. But the damage across the board got nerfed. And I believe Bradywell also got nerfed here. Ice Gauntlet, I didn't read this one because I don't know Ice Gauntlet perks. All I know is Tomb, and this thing, I hate Tomb. This ability sucks, dude. This one, wow. Palom, I don't know if this got changed. Palom's annoying. A big one is the Blade, though. The Blade got nerfed, I think, again. 8 to 16% lifesteal. And Void Heavies are 26. Like, this is hugely downgraded in terms of quality. One of the reasons why everyone hated Void Gauntlet so much was because of this perk. This perk was so broken. And with this change, I don't think Void Blade's going to be too much of a problem anymore. Like, Scream stayed the same. I think it seems similar. Tether seems similar as well. Most of these seem close to what I remember. I'm not 100% sure on the Void Gauntlet. Great Sword, everything stayed the exact same except for Leeching Crosscut. This one got a different passive because the previous passive is completely useless. And it's kind of sad, man, but I think they just need to buff this ability. Crosscut is so bad. It's one of the worst abilities in the entire game. Up with Vault Kick, in my opinion. And giving this slight amount of life stealing is nice, but it just doesn't make it ever worth running over something like anything else. It's the worst ability by far. They need to increase the damage or make it so you get some damage reduction during it. That would be good as well. You just get CC'd locked for like 1.5 to 2 seconds, I believe, and you're just cooked if there's more than one player around you. Blunderblast didn't really get changed across the board. I think it's about the same stats. Still broken, still annoying. Hate that weapon. But the one thing that did get buffed is this perk, Powerful Eruption. 16% damage increase per stack of impairment. This is broken, dude. Especially in a patch like this where we're getting so many damage modifiers across the board, and you can stack this 3 times, right? So 16, 16, 16, that's 48% additional damage on the trip combo. And if you guys have been playing New World, or if you're new, there's a combo on Flail and Shield where when you trip somebody, you can do about 50 to 60 to 70% of their health, depending if you crit, if you're running the correct things. And with this perk increased, it should go even higher. You could, and with everyone being squishier, dude, you could, I don't know if you can one-shot somebody with the combo, but it's going to get close. It's going to be really nasty, dude. I don't want to deal with it. Now we have what considers the old standard perks. A lot of these got changed, like a lot. I didn't go over them in the video. It's too much little detail. But a good one is Trenchant Crits. Strikes got nerfed, like these two got nerfed. The biggest one though, hands down, is Trenchant Recovery got nerfed by 20%. That's something I want to know, by the way. Because they're changing Crescent Wave, right? I don't know if they're going to give me a gem slot or they're going to allow me to put an offensive slot in there. Like, that's what I wonder. Can I put an offensive slot or defensive, or will they let me put a gem slot? That's an old piece of gear, but they don't specify what they're doing with that. In terms of if I get a gem slot or offensive slot. Hopefully I get a gem slot still. But these are getting nerfed hard. Shirking is staying the same. Attunement staying basically the same. There's some strong perks in here. Not infliction. Let me find it. Thundering Stack still very good in my opinion, especially when you pair this on both weapons. As this is a consistent 30% rend. It's one of the best weapon perks I think in the entire game right now. And it's still very prevalent. 6 seconds with 4% will definitely be meta if you can get this on the new gear. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work, but this would be very good. Fractured Ren, PvP only when blocking, breaking a player. Inflicts a Ren, reducing the armor by 18%. That's okay, not too big. Critical hits, remove 1 buff from the target. This basically, that's a terrorist type of organization here. Getting rid of the buffs on the enemies. We have another one here. PvP only. It hits against exhaust afflicts slows, reducing the movement by 15%. For 4 seconds, backstabs against targets reduce stamina regen by 13. Just a annoying little rat build perk. I'm not sure exactly how strong this one's going to be, but in terms of anything that reduces movement and stamina regen in the game is generally strong. It just made it downside they have to be exhausted, but this could be very strong in like OPR because people get exhausted more in there. Riser, what weapons smell strong to the beavers after these notes, and what smells like old rotten wood? Honestly, I don't know what weapons are going to be meta, but I can tell you the perks that are going to be meta, much more easy, I think, to digest what perks are going to be good. There's a few coin flip perks, of course, that I can't tell. I don't think anyone can really tell. There's a couple perks that are much more difficult. But I think ranged weapons are going to have a lot of damage come next patch. I think there's going to be a lot of specialization in your build compared to Season 9. In Season 9, everyone, in my opinion, ran almost identical builds. It was always enchanted and always this, that. But come Season 10, dude, I feel like a lot of people are going to try and go full damage or full tank. And we do not know which one's going to be better. That's what is interesting me the most. Is either full tank is going to be very overpowered and you're not going to be able to kill anyone. Next patch, that's in like heavy. I don't think heavy armor player is actually going to die at all next patch. I think there's too much fortification. I think if you want to be an unkillable god, dude, Mr. Riser, you just go heavy, you stack all these fortifying passives, and you will literally never die. No one, I don't think you can ever die next patch if you're in heavy. The damage is crazy. We have a few more. Where were we, dude? Punishment's still in here. These are all the same. Freeze. Good. What the heck is this? While your mana is below 50%, your healing is increased by 15%. The desperate prayer, dude. Praise be to God. Kill in groups increase outgoing healing by 1% per stack for 20 seconds. Personal kill grant 2 stacks, and group kill grant 1 stack. Max 15 stacks. Dude, this perks. Dude, healers also are getting a lot of multipliers, which is scary. And the disease got nerfed. Riser, welcome into the Goblin Horde. Thank you for the sub, brother. I greatly appreciate it. As promised, Mr. Moose. Good man, dude. Welcome into the Horde, dude. I greatly appreciate it. The Moose is very happy. We're about to be... Dude, people are about to be dropping like flies. Get my shotgun, the blunderbuss, dude. I'm about to pop some boys. Holy crap. Where were we? We were on which stack? Critical suppression reduces the crit chance. I think it's okay. And okay, this one's new. This one's 100% new. Thanks for the videos, dude. Thank you so much, bro, for the support and the generous donation. Greatly appreciate that. If you guys, by the way, have any questions or you want me to go over a certain weapon and what I think is going to be good on that weapon, you can ask. I will try my best to tell you what you should look for, what passives you're going to want to grab, and all that good stuff. I think I might make a video on what I'm going to try and aim for, at least for Season 10. Because I have a full idea of what I want. But there is a lot of unique stuff, such as End here, where your ability base damage and 12% base damage increase the final attack of the melee and light attack chain. Fun fact, guys, this is a 350 strength passive. Now is a perk, which is quite interesting. I feel like they're doing this a lot with the 350 passives, right? The con pass with the 300 one's getting changed. The strength one is getting changed, which is this one. What about mats, by the way? Coconuts, chromatic, orbs, some orbs still needed. I think chromatics are 100% needed. They specified that they were. I 100% think coconuts will be needed simply due to the fact that they're not going to get rid of a key system for one of their main sources of content, the PvP island. That would just be a catastrophic mistake. But then again, we are playing New World to Tournament, and they have shown multiple times that they can blow up an entire game with just the push of one button. So you never know what you're going to get. I think Gypsum Orbs will be useful as well. They're not going to get rid of anything like a core mechanic in the game, as they've spent years building these loops, and they're not going to get rid of them. They're just going to find a way to implement them differently to allow us to enjoy them better. So I think orbs will stay in. I don't know what they'll be used for. Maybe recipes. Coconuts will 100% stay in. I'll be absolutely shocked if they get rid of coconuts. That would be mind-blowing. I was talking to some people from my company about this, and everyone thinks they're keeping coconuts. So no one thinks they're getting rid of coconuts or anything like that. We all think those things are going to stay. Life stealing also got nerfed, which is bad for your boy. By about 2%. Oh no, 1.5%. No, it's about 2%. Keen speed got changed. This one's interesting because when you crit someone, you get a haste stack for 3 seconds and a 3-second cooldown, dude. So you can be permanently hasted by 15% on crit. One of the weirdest passives I've seen in this patch notes, dude. Like, what? This seems strong. Like, very strong. Especially on certain weapons, dude. Like, haha, BB. BB, I think, is going to be very prevalent. There's a lot of good things for it coming. Thank you for the follow, brother. I can't see them, but I do appreciate it. We have a few, so let me read them all out right now, actually. We've collected them like Thanos has been collecting the Infinity Stones. Remind me later. We have Tempered Red. GG, thank you for the follow. Sir Alec, the Solo Possum, Mix 712, and C-Day Trojan. Thank you, boys, so much for the follow. I really do appreciate it. I just have to Alt-Tab or switch to my other monitor every time I do that. Mortal Aggression. They've also changed this one, I believe. You get 2% lifesteal, 10% of your max, gain 10% of your max HP, stamina, and fortify, and empower on a kill, dude. This is like a surprise box. So you get 4 different things when you kill someone. Every guy's going to be a walking pinata. Do you kill them, you get 4 juicy buffs. And it has a 2-second cooldown. But sadly, it won't be good unless maybe an OPR for PvP. In terms of PvE, the Catacombs could definitely make this a strong perk. That's something I want to know. This perk seems very good in something like the Catacombs, because there's going to be a lot of ads, and if you're fighting a boss, right? Because we don't know anything about the bosses in the Catacombs. In the Night Raid, we should expect 1 boss, no ads. They've never done a boss fight with ads yet. But in the Catacombs, I can definitely see them popping an ad boss, and this passive would be broken in there. Sturdy Fortification. This one's whatever. I don't care about it. Healing. When you block, you gain a heal. You gain unblock, you gain empower. Who cares about power? Shield Aggression, 4% base damage. Solid. You still get cooldown reduction here. I don't know why it's 3.14. It's kind of trippy on my eyes. We don't know. Well, that's pretty much it for the weapon and shield. Perks. For armor, the conditioning perks stay the exact same. This is another thing that looks very strong in Season 10. At least if you want to be tanky. Because everything else has been nerfed, right? Pretty much across the board. Some buffs here and there, but this one stayed the same, and conditioning perks were already sitting at a solid, I would say, A-ish tier. So the fact that these haven't been changed, and I don't know if these will be able to be available on the new pieces of gear, like as in charm slots, but these could be very strong next patch, depending on how the meta goes. Very strong depending on how the meta shifts. But we do not know that right now, so we're waiting still. Tem3 Red GG says, been watching so many of your videos of the past month since coming back to the game, and I appreciate every one of them. Much love, G. Thank you so much for the sub, brother. Greatly appreciate it. Welcome to the Goblin Horde, my man. Hope you're having a fantastic day, and glad you came in to stop by. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Or if you want me to go over something specific, you can ask that as well. Armor, shrinking fortification. This is the stuff I was talking about. This gives you 9% fortification for 6 seconds. Something I didn't mention in the video. But this perk increases the potency of the effect per piece wearing, right? So we have 9 seconds. This is when you dodge. You get a fortify. All you have to do is dodge an attack, which is relatively easy. You can stack this, I would believe, 5 times. So if you can get 45%, let's just say 30% for easy sake. With the other percentages we already were stacking, I think we're at 60% fortify, right? If you were here from the start. Now we're at 90% fortify uptime, roughly almost 100% of the time. Now we're getting into unkillable territory. This is why fortification could be a massive problem come next patch, especially with all the increased durations of the stuff, and there's even more stuff that increases stats on you. So we'll have to break it down as we go. I'm indeed hopeful you're having a great day or night as well. Dude, I'm having a pretty solid day. I came back home, dude. I tried to get the videos up, but I was so late, and then I had some IRL stuff. But don't worry, come season 10, I'll be streaming all the time and playing the game like an absolute degenerate. And we're about to lock it in. So I promise I will be playing this game like a degen. But I'm also hyped, dude. I'm also hyped to grind a game like New World, just like back in the day when you were a kid. Does the Fortify cap out at 50? No, Fortify has no cap. Or the cap is like 250%. There is no cap on Fortify. At least I know. If it is, it's very high. Something that you will never reach. But you can 100%, I know, hit 100% fortification. And as long as you can keep that up, dude, you will never die. Especially with medium or heavy. If you guys want to, when we're at the bottom, I could literally like bring up paint and start writing down notes. I think that'd be fun. I'll do it. Maybe I should have been doing that the whole time. Do I have paint? Can you guys paint? Can you guys see my paint? Let me see. Oh, you guys can see my paint. So here's my paint. So we'll just minimize this a bit. Okay, we have, let's start counting our fortification, dude. So we have 45% here. Mind my writing, it's not the prettiest. But we'll keep going. We'll see how high we can get. During reflection, taking a critical hit. This one stays the same. Retribution stayed the same. None of these have really been changed. Vital Synergy still broken beyond belief. Nothing much to be said. Definitely will be one of the best perks come season 10. Hardcore parkour, that's still fine. I don't think it's worth running though. Bypass when an attack is blocked, you gain stamina. Damage increased for 4 seconds. What is this? You gain a stack of 4% stam damage. Is this new? I've never seen this. Must be Empower I'm thinking about. Yeah, Empower is 50%. Haste is 40%. Fortify, no percent. Maximum gains, dude. I think this one's new. I never heard of this one. I didn't even catch this when I was reading it the first time. So this can go up to 10 stacks. I'm not sure. Does this mean this goes 40% stam damage? So you can just infinitely exhaust people? There's some troll things out here. This would be good on Greatsword though, because Greatsword blocks a lot. Hitting a target with an ability within 5 seconds of weapon swapping cleanses a buff. That's nice, but not that solid. I wouldn't say it's worth it though. Here's a very broken one. Increases the duration of limited buffs on self by 10 whole percent. 10%, dude. And I think this one can be stacked. And if it can be stacked, it can be abused. So this is what I'm scared about. You compare this with shirking. You pair that with tumblers. You pair that with the other buffs. Hold on. Like, what's another good buff? So many things, dude. So many things. Harnessing. Is it in here? I don't think what I'm thinking about has anything. Here, no, there's nothing here you can stack. There's too many notes. I forgot. But it's just so strong. When you compare that with all the things that we can currently stack, we will be busted. Quick revive, you gain grit while reviving. Reduces the time it takes to revive a down player by 40%. So, you gotta get a medic, bro. This is the perk for you. I think it'll be okay. Nothing too special, though. Yo, could you make a build video on your GS Hatchet build? I am new and trying to learn the game. I have a video of that already on my channel. When season 10 comes out, we can see how I'm feeling. I'll definitely be running Great Sword. I'm not sure exactly what secondary I want. I'll try Hatchet, I'll try Spear, I'll try Great Axe. I might even try the Light Rat style, Mr. Ragin. So we'll have to wait and see, but I think the way I want to build my class is going to be very similar to most weapons. I usually don't switch out too many things. Jeremiah, nothing on the storage rework? No, I don't think I didn't read anything about that, or I missed it. Not worth a build video at the moment. We wait to Riser. We wait. Yeah, we let it cook. Eventually, though, we will get into it. It's not the moment. Oh, here's another perk that got changed. Life Stealer's Drop. I have to take a drink of water. Been yapping non-stop. This one is also seems very good because you get 15% lifesteal and power of lifesteal is increased by 15%, right? As long as you have not used it. So this can go up to 30%, dude. 30%. Our lifesteal right now, I can get a 60. So this goes up by 30. I'm at 90% lifesteal. I'm literally healing per damage at this point. I'm not sure what the requirement is for this. Like if it's only on a certain piece of gear or this is only on legacy gear. But dude, screw potions. If I can like get 100% lifesteal, that sounds so fun to try out. For the nastiest and sloppiest build, dude, I will have the most disgusting build. I make some... Dude, the lifestealing builds are so gross. But I'm debating if I want to go lifesteal goblin or fortify rat. Both seem very strong. But at the moment, I have not decided on which path I shall take. There's also... This is a new perk as well. Your base damage increased by 1.5%, but your armor is decreased by 1%. Stacks per armor piece slotted in. So this one's very, I think, strong as well. As you're getting not only a net positive, but on stuff like light and medium, this will definitely be, I think, a very good perk as well to try out, as 1% is not too big of a deal, especially on lights. Basically irrelevant. But for medium, it can have a bit more of an impact. I don't think you would run this on heavy, though. But stacking damage is really fun. And this is a one-piece armor perk, so the way the game is going to work, right? Okay, let me explain how the game's going to work. I don't know if everyone understands this. So in the new gearing system, right, we will have charms. So these are charms. This stuff. So this will be charms, this will be charms, this will be charms, this will be all charms, right? Then each piece of gear will have 2 perks. And the 2 perks are this stuff. So this will be on your gear as well. Yo, what's up, Wolf and Knight? Welcome back, dude. Hope you're having a great night. So right now, every piece of gear gets 2 perks. So 2 of any of these. And then each will get 3 charm slots. And mutations get 4 charm slots. So the question is, what perks do you want on your gear? As this feels like the RNG going to be coming in Season 10. It's not going to be your charms, but your perks, right? So it's all about getting the correct perks. And knowing what perks are correct. So something like this seems really strong. I definitely want this one 100% on my gear. This 15% lifesteal is beyond broken. I don't know why it's all hits again. Like this seems beyond broken, dude. So I'll be using this one 100% on all my builds. Hitting a target. Let's finish this and we'll talk over all the perks and which ones are good. Aggression. Hitting a target will reduce the duration of active crowd control. Self on 4%. I think this one's kind of useless. I never get CC'd. I never make a mistake, bro. What is that? What's up, Wolfenite? Oh, yeah. You having a great day, dude? You excited for season 10? It's been a while since I've seen you, dude. How you doing? Need a video on the correct perks, the main thing, the way you summarize it now? That's what I was thinking. I was thinking I should make a deep dive video into this. Hold on. Let's finish this, then we'll go up. We'll do trinkets after. Because trinkets is a whole different ball game. And then this one is you gain a 5% increased base damage for every 25% of your max health is missing. So this one also seems extremely good, I think. So I wish I had an easy way to showcase this, like if I could write on my screen. But let's go over which weapon perks. So these perks are still strong, like all these trenchant rends and crit perks and plagues. These are all very good still and will be ran according to the weapon. Attunement will always still be a solid perk for your weapon. But there is a few big ones in here, such as I think End will be very strong for certain weapons. Talk about a bunch of info to digest. I'm doing good, just got off work. Nice, dude. Glad to hear that. Yeah, dude, it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet out here at the patch notes. My man's eating good, dude. I'm about to gain weight just from reading this. That's all we need, dude. The chunkers. But I'm definitely hyped for, like, this end perk will be very strong on a lot of builds. Not every build, but very strong. Life stealing, I believe this can be stacked. The weapon, maybe, no, this one can't be stacked. This one will still be solid. Keen speed will be very good as well. Mortal aggression will only be good, I think, for PvE. Most of this other stuff I wouldn't say is too strong. I still think it's gonna be about the same. Just this stuff will all be good. End will be definitely 100% good. And life stealing, keen speed, these will also be good. And then in terms of armor and shield, conditioning will be solid. Won't know which will be better, but shirking fortification, dude. I can see this being the most sought after perk come season 10. As 9% fortify for 6 seconds for medium and heavy builds, maybe even light builds, I'm not sure on the math, is phenomenal. So this one will be 100% top priority. Thorny Reflection is okay. These ones are okay. Vital Synergy, of course, 100% mandatory if you can grab it. That's a one perker, so it's not really too big of a deal. It's just one perk. This one's okay. I like this one, but I think it's not as good as some of the other ones. The Shirking Energy. Favorite. This one will also be very strong. Made 3 basic lost trophies. Nice, dude. You're ready for the raid? The Catacombs, too. The Catacombs... I wonder if the Catacombs is going to be like a mixture of enemy types. But Prolonged Favor seems very good. So right now we have Shirking Fortification. Prolonged Favor, these two I would say is 1 and 2 in terms of value. Of course, Synergy would be another top tier one. And Life Stealing Drop, this one as well. So you have 2 must-have perks, right? So Shirking, and then we'll want the Prolonged Favor. This one also seems really good to stack on your gear pieces as well, as it's only 1%, which is so loaded. And another one that seems like it's going to be fun is this Vengeance perk. Because 5%, you can get up to what? 15%. Well, 10% of your 20% of your dead. But this paired with the Enraged set where you're always below 70% is a flat 5% base damage increase. That could be a very good synergy as well. And then we're on to trinkets, so. Let's break down the trinkets, boys. Wolf and I says, I've also been making other basic combat trophies. Dude, nice, dude. What other trophies have you been making? They should bake in hatred into tanks baseline. The aggro in this game is so terrible. Yeah, but then they wouldn't. But they like having the perk, dude. If they did that, they would have to remove a perk, and they want you to get that perk. They want you to work for it. The protection perks are getting nerfed across the board by 5%, which is good in terms of tankiness, but I still think they'll be meta. You always want usually one protection perk on you. The health being reduced by 5 is a solid hit, but not too bad. In terms of the must-have perk, Tricky Empowered, I think is going to be very broken come Season 10. A flat 30% damage increase for 7 seconds, dude. That's how you know you're eating good. And if you pair that with the Prolong perk, just 2 of these, dude, this will be up for almost 9 seconds. If I can find the right perk. This will be up for 9 seconds, dude. And it refreshes every time you proc it. That's insane. This is going to be broken. Very meta for PvP. Angry Earth Corruption and Wildlife. The wildlife, do you killing the beast, dude? I'm about to call PETA on you, bro. You're killing the poor animals out there. What's wrong with you? The poor animals, man. All right, let's keep going. We have Recovery, Shirking Cleanse, which is now lighter medium equipment load. You lose dots. Solid. We don't care. Stop, drop, and roll. Yeah. Unpeated. Yeah. Not the strongest, but it is what it is. This one, I think, is going to be very interesting come Season 10. These 2 perks. Because you reduce attackers' basic attack damage by 10%, but you increase their abilities by 5. And you also get this one, which reduces attackers' ability damage by 5, but increases attackers' basic attack by 10. Since basic attacks are more prevalent in the game, I feel like people are going to go this one, as this will prevent you from dying to like muskets and bows more, because they are almost all basic attacks, and blunderbuss as well, and greatsword, and like spear has a lot of basic attacks with the sweep and the lights. Rapier has a lot of basic attacks. I can see this one being very popular, but you'll just get countered by certain builds. Only drawback, but I think it'd be worth running. Just due to the fact that you can just get so much tankier against ranged players. Alright, now we're on rings, dude. So all the damage got increased by 0.2 actually percent across the board. Very big increase, 0.2 damage. Healing Breeze is also still solid. I actually don't think it got changed. You have Mend and Heart. I don't like this Heart Room debuff at all. When you remove a debuff from an ally, you heal them for 20% weapon damage. Still really good. Moral Empowerment is the same. This is just the musket OPR type of style here. Very annoying. Punishment seems to be about the same as well. This is the one I want. Increase basic attack damage by 10%. But you decrease your ability damage by 10%. And they have the opposite curse skill. So, I say so a lot. Because of these new changes, I feel like your build is going to revolve around either light attacking and heavy attacking or ability based. It's not going to be an in-between, as each ability is going to be important, right? So for Greatsword doesn't need abilities, right? All my abilities are defensive, like Steadfast, Roaring Rupture, and Relentless Rush are all generally not high damaging abilities except Relentless Rush. So me losing 10% there is fine because a lot of my damage will come from heavies. But something like the Hatchet, which has Raging Torrent, well, this is a very bad thing because Raging Torrent is a massive amount of your damage. But I think where these passives will really shine is with the Musket and Bow again. I think Musket and Bow next patch are going to have so many ways to stack damage. They're going to be very terrifying. Because Musket and Bow are very heavily dependent on basic attacks. And certain skills are still counted as basic attacks on those weapons. Very, very traumatizing to fight them, I think, next patch. You have a Keen Switch. On weapon swap, you increase your crit chance for 9% for 3 seconds with a 3-second cooldown. This one's interesting, I guess. It depends on how much you're switching your weapon. You'll have to actively think to make use out of this. The fact that it has 100% uptime makes it relatively strong in theory. But the major drawback is certain weapon combos can't do this at all. So it's going to depend on your playstyle and which weapons you're using. For example, my Greatsword won't be able to use this at all, but someone using like Rapier, Musket, Rapier, Fire Staff can use this extremely well, as you can switch to Fire Staff, do your damage, switch back for Rapier for iframes, and then switch back and get the crit chance again. Alright, let's keep going. We have all hits deal 2% base damage. All abilities deal 2.5% base damage. Once again, further being able to stack your light and heavies versus your abilities. We're getting, at this point, our multiply. Dude, how much damage can you stack at this point? It's got to be over 50% just from basic attacks. All hits deal. But I think this one's going to be better, as this is all hits. This is only ability. I don't know why you would ever run this one over this one. It's only 0.5% where everything else is doing damage. You have an enchanted attacks. Light and heavy attacks deal 3% increased damage. Seems really good as well, but I still think this will reign supreme unless you compare them. I don't know if this counts as an illegal weapon perk because they're called enchanted. Maybe they can't be combined together, but if they can be, I can definitely see people running this one with this one or this one with this one. Curse Infliction, 7% increased crit chance against target with your damage over time effects. So once again, a Fire Staff buff in the making. A lot of the perks and changes are buffing Fire Staff, which is interesting. It's such an indirect buff, but I think Fire Staff could be considered A to S tier next patch. Where right now it's not too strong, but with all these damage over time effects and the fact that Fire Staff always has a consistent damage over time on you, stuff like this is just so meta. So I think Fire Staff is back, baby. For all you pyromaniacs, you should be rejoicing. And then we have Purging Infection, Mortal Strike. These ones are just whatever. We have Rogue Alacrity. Backstabbing a target will remove one of their hastes and give you 12% haste. Nice, but it is what it is type perk. This one's interesting though. Melee light attacks grant 1 stack, and melee heavy attacks grant 2 stacks of 5% in power for 8 seconds. Max 6 stacks for every hit you deal without taking damage. Taking a hit will remove 1 in power and increase the instance of that damage by 15%. Interesting to note here, by the way, there is no cooldown on this. Translation, this would be in a phenomenal perk with the Hatchet, as the Hatchet could stack this in theory immediately with Raging Torrent, proccing it all the way up to, what is that? Getting you in power cap right off the bat. But I'll say the major drawback is empower, not base damage. You want this to be base damage because empowering is super easy to get right now, with holding stone being 7%, paired with all the other stuff that you can grab. I don't think this will be very good because it's empowering. If it was base damage, it would be much better. And the drawback is pretty heavy. 15% increased damage is really rough. All right, let's do a quick summary, boys, before we get into earring. Let's see, what exactly would we want to grab? You get 3 perks per amulet, or is it 1 perk? Who knows? I think you want a protection perk, very good. Max health will still be solid to grab. Shrinking power will be a must. And I think grabbing this enchanted resilience will be very good. I really think this will be a good perk. I could be wrong though. You never know. I think that'll be it for the amulet. In terms of rings, always take your damage with you. After that, I would say you want this one and this one if you can stack them. Critical infliction, very good on certain weapons such as fire staff, like I mentioned earlier, and then I think it'll be it. So you have these 4, very good. This one if your weapon calls for it. I think this one's also very good if your weapon can use it, and then your damage. It all comes down to if they can stack together or not. I would avoid the rest. I think you would also need to get hit. If you get hit, you lose it all. No, you get hit, you lose 1. So right here, you lose 1 in power, and then you get increased. That damage that hits you while you have the empower on you will be increased by 15%. That's a huge damage margin. For the payoff, it's not worth it at all. This is one of the worst perks, I'm pretty sure. If it was base damage, it could be more debatable. But the empowering is useless, makes it not that good. As there's just way better perks out there. But what's up, Ethereal CX? Welcome in, dude. We're having a great day. You excited for the patch, dude? You excited to rock and roll? What about you, Wolf? What are you guys by the way, what are you guys most excited for, Wolf and Riser? What weapon are you guys gonna be playing in Season 10? You guys got your weapon already picked out, or you still letting it cook in the oven? Let's break down earring. I think refreshment, this one will be very good on the vast majority of builds. As a flat 10% CDR is massive. Stam regen has stayed the same. Regenerating has stayed the same. Refreshing move here is solid, but I don't think it can beat the flat 10%, dude, from refreshing. Letting it cook, dude. We letting it cook, letting it sizzle a little bit. Got the spices on top. Making sure we're all here ready. We got some salt, pepper, maybe some dill on this bad boy. Nimble, solid. Refreshing toast, I think will still be 100% good. Here it is, fortifying toast. Very strong. Passive, empowering is also going to be very good. And that'll be it. So in terms of earring, it's pretty simple. I think refreshment will be put on almost every earring next patch. Is 10%. It's a huge number. Regenerating or nimble will be paired with that. And then after that, I would say you want refreshing and either you're fortifying or you're empowering, depending on what equipment load you're in. If you're running medium or heavy, you definitely want fortifying. 100%. Oh, we can also add that to our paint stack. We have another 20%. So we're at 65% already, and we're missing the stuff up top. And we have just... So what we were at... Crap, what were we at, boys? Oh, we were at a high number. We're at 60%. This is our fortifying. So right now we're at 65%. And we have still more things to grab. And these are just fixes. We don't care about fixes, dude. We're not here to be Bob the Builder. So this is something I found interesting, is the Infernal, the Abyss, and Life Taker artifacts now scaling BB, right? For int dex, strength, int, and int strength. People said, like, you have Blunderbuss, right? But Blunderbuss would be terrible to pair with the Abyss. I think the Abyss is not going to be very good next patch. This one will fall harder than I did when I was a child, as this is no longer going to be think even close to the meta. But the Life Taker, though, this one could definitely shake things up as into Dex. Well, that's a Dex Wrath Wet Dream. And Infernal could be paired with Blunderbuss. So I think this will be the Blunderbuss go-to, and this will be the Life Taker. Exo this. What's up, Mr. Jax K? How you doing, dude? Also, if they fix the fact that Infernal Dots can now scale off strength and int, dude, I think Infernal is going to be so effing broken, dude. With Blunderbuss. This, I guarantee you, is going to be one of the most popular weapon combos come Season 10. Infernal Blunderbuss. Oh, God. Save me now. That's going to be so frustrating to fight. Yeah, just good farming mobs at the moment. Teehee, you're farming up, bro. You locking in. Nice. I'm glad to hear that. But can anyone here in my chat can understand? I don't understand what this is. Is this like a passive, right? I don't know what this actually is for a Crescent Wave. I'm so confused. The Greatsword only triggers Heavy Blade passive when heavy melee heavies are triggered to prevent the Crescent Wave artifacts from triggering it. I think this has to be a passive in the Greatsword skill tree that is giving you health or something. It was already taking top DPS spot for raids, no? Which one? Kino, the Crescent? Or what? Jay Caxton says, gotta tune in to my funniest New World YouTuber. Bro, I'm not even cracking too many jokes here. I've been too serious. Too serious. Too thinking. My brain's been overloading with information. You know, you can see the smoke coming out of my ears if you had a camera on, but then you would die from horror. Infernal BB? No, Infernal BB is not top DPS. Right now, top DPS for everything is Finisher. But guess what, dude? Finisher is no longer going to be the DPS weapon. I think it's going to be a Greatsword. Because Serenity is very good. And it got buffed slightly. And on top of that, Finisher got gutted. 2 leather pants and old crown here. They're getting attributes reduced, of course, to compensate. But something that's interesting is old crown has 3 changeable gems. Translation, this could be the new meta for every mutation or raid. You'll need Old Crown. So time to farm it up, boys. If you haven't farmed Old Crown, I highly recommend farming this, as I have a very strong feeling for PvE. This will 150% be the artifact every PvE build will need. Because 3 changeable gems means damage reduction, and damage reduction is king. Is light melee Greatsword save, dude? I think Greatsword is going to be better 100% in medium and heavy. Because the sets, Mr. Spacetime, welcome in, by the way. We're having a great day. And Ro Ranch also has a question here before I get into yours. Heavy Blade is the GF passive. For Arm Pen, it was double. Oh, it was double proccing on Wave. Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you, my good man. I greatly appreciate that. Huge shout out to Ron Ranch. He owns a ranch, apparently. His name is Ron. I wouldn't say light melee, great sword is saved. I think medium will 100% be better. 100% for this patch because the damage is going to be extremely high. 1. 2. Ranged players are going to be doing an exponential amount of more damage. So unless they're bad at the game, you will just die to them. They'll be one-shotting you. So because of that, I think melee will be way more forced into medium and heavy this patch. Unless you're just having fun and you want to go for one-shot builds, but it won't be meta. Are you going to give some... Yeah, I can do some gameplay, Mr. Jackson, if everyone is still interested. But right now we're doing the hard breakdown. And then I want to do a quick summary of the patch notes and go exactly over my build. I'm not going to go over anyone else's build because my build's the only thing that matters, let's be honest, of what I want. So you have a general idea. And then I'm going to maybe make a video on this, just explaining what I want for my build after reading all the patch notes. I think that'd be a fun video to make. Is degen going to be the go-to for us? I think it's going to be solid. But I'm pretty sure tumblers will just be better. Tumblers are still strong. Yeah, they did not touch degen. Yeah, they didn't. That's interesting. It's going to be between tumblers and degen then. Because tumblers is still broken, right? Also, featherweight got nerfed hard, dude. Before we get into that, let's talk about how hard featherweight got nerfed, dude. Crazy. 8% slow for 4 seconds when you're staggered is disgusting. This thing actually might be dead. I don't know if anyone's going to use this in Season 10 for light. This is a humongous nerf. Way bigger than I think people think. The moment of silence, dude, for featherweight. This is a moment of silence. This is a catastrophic nuke. My man said, I'm tapping out, and AGS says, bring in the anvil, and dropped it on its head. Featherweight is gone, dude. I know, Kino. This is crazy nerf. Absolutely diabolical. I think this is way too harsh. I mean, it's been meta for far too long. True, but tumblers have been meta for far too long. And it's still looking strong. Oh, we can bring up my stat sheet. Okay, we have another 18%. This is, and I missed one. So right now we have 65. We have in total 85% fortify with a 100% uptime. And I missed one. I missed it, dude. I missed one. This is how broken fortify will be next patch. I just want everyone to realize fortify is going to take over. This is basically 100% uptime with 85% continuation, and that's not counting any weapon skills, the charms, because I forgot to mention the charms, or any of the infixes, or any of the set bonuses that can also give you fortify. This is just raw fortify that you can get really easily, 85%, and this is with 100% uptime. All you have to do is dodge. Law Featherweight was my first artifact, Mr. Wolfenite. Dang, dude, that's rough. It's been cooked, roasted, and sizzled. Singles for Tumblr, but yeah, it's not that much of a nerf. I think Tumblrs will still be really good because you have the shirking, which didn't get touched. The Empower dropping by 5 in this. It's about a net of 13%. Let me write it down for you guys. 13% in terms of my Tumbler nerf, but I still think it'll be 100% worth it to run. The Abyss getting nerfed. I think the Abyss didn't get nerfed. It's just not good anymore because it can't scale off either strength or int, which is a massive blow to its power. It will be used as an offhand, but it will never be used as a damaging weapon anymore. So I think Abyss is about to fall through the Abyss, literally, off the map of Eternum. No one's going to be touching the Abyss anymore. It's gone. 100% gone from the meta. Kino, you think we should upgrade artifacts right now before they change the recipe? I think you should wait because they're going to change it anyways. And you'll just have to use Umbral to level it up. And when Season 10 comes, you should upgrade your artifacts first because they're going to be with you the entire time you're going to be playing Season 10. More than likely. And because of that, you should upgrade that first. You're going Serenity for sure, right? I'm going Crescent Wave for PvP and Serenity for PvE, Mr. Spacetime. But that's interesting, dude. Hold on. I'm not even done cooking. We have more. And I mean more Fortify coming our way. Oh, dude. Okay, first let's talk about Ankh. We got to talk about the next artifact on our to-do list. Ankh is basically dead for everything now except War. I think it will still be running War. I'm not a War expert, so I can't say. But everything besides War, Ankh will be dead in. As the value increase healing mod downside from 25 to 30%. That's big. Reduce healing mod benefit from 25 to 20%. And the main reason why they did this is simply due to the fact that Ankh was, you had to run Ankh for every war fight. And if you weren't running Ankh, you wouldn't get slotted. So this is a nerf to reduce that. Crescent's still good. That's crazy. Yeah, Crescent is still good. I told you, everyone kept coming into my chat, dude, and saying, dude, they're going to nerf Crescent. I'm like, bro, you don't know AGS. I've been playing this game for 4 years. I've been disappointed more times than I've disappointed my father. And that's saying something. And that's why I knew they wouldn't nerf it. I did not think they would nerf it again. I thought they might do a slight nerf to it, maybe reduce the damage by a bit, but not enough to make it not the meta PvP weapon for Greatsword. For a finisher, though, this is only a PvE nerf. You cannot do the evade rapier build, so everybody in PvE that's been playing the game, they always ran. You always were forced to run finisher for Gorgon, Worm, or any raid content. Finisher was a necessity, but now this will no longer be the case. You'll have one bleed rapier player, I'm sure, per raid, and you'll have probably one bleed rapier player for sure per dungeon, but you will not have the evade rapiers anymore. They are gone, annihilated, basically turned into atoms. Blood Drinker's even better now, Kino? Yeah, dude, I saw, bro. We're getting down to it. Where is it? It's almost, is it in screen yet? Oh, it's right here. We're almost to the Blood Drinker. My favorite artifact. Thank God. Mr. Big Now Monster, dude. Welcome in. We're having a great day. You excited with the finisher nerfs, dude? That it's finally not mandatory for every build? Literally grinded for Crescent purely off your vids. Haha, yeah, Jason K, dude. It's still going to be good. 100%. It won't be PvE, but for PvP, it'll definitely be meta. I'll probably upgrade my Serenity first because you have to do a lot of PvE in order to get best in slot. So we'll be upgrading my Serenity because that'll be my main DPS weapon. But here's the thing, dude. This got to increase from 4 seconds to 5 seconds. For those of you who do not know, let me bring up my chart again. This gives you plus 20% fortify. So now we're at 105% fortify. This is 100% uptime. We can now double our armor, and I'm missing stats still. I didn't this is what I mean, dude. The tankiness coming from armor in season 10 is gonna be diabolical. I don't even know how people are going to die in heavy. I think they might not be killable. Rens will be so important next patch if people start stacking Fortify. You'll see perks like Sundering. Which perk is Sundering? Sundering. Is it still on here? Where is Sundering? Here, this perk will be mandatory, dude. I'm telling you, next patch, this will be one of the most mandatory weapon perks. You would need this rend to kill heavy armor or medium armor players. That will be one of the most mandatory perks come season 10. I promise you. From 5 to 4. Oh, it is a nerf. Oh, I read it wrong. From 5 to 4. And fortified duration from 5 to 4. Oh, I read it wrong. You're correct, Joey. That's my first mistake. That's pretty good, dude. How long have we been doing? That's my first grammatic mistake in 100 minutes. I guess I thought it was increased. Oh, that's my bad. That's my first. Not bad. Not bad. One mistake. It's still strong. 4 seconds is still very good because you can proc it off any damage. The only downside is if you switch to onslaught stance, you want to switch immediately back to defiant stance to get this fortify. Onslaught is useless in PvP, but for PvE it's really good. So this doesn't matter for PvP, I mean at all. This is only for PvP, this stat matters. They nerf a large majority and then buff the basic attacks. Are they a Serenity? Mr. Joey? Let's keep going though. Unmoved, this one now reflects damage back to the attacker, 16% with a 1 second cooldown. I don't know how good this is going to be. I think this is coin flip if this is going to be good or bad. No idea, dude. I cannot predict how strong that's going to be. It's going to completely depend on how often this gets procced. It's easy to proc. If it's just literally you get hit and you reflect the damage back, then it'll be pretty good. In general, you'll see. Okay. That's good to know. All right, let's go down to Blood Drinker, boys. The moment I guarantee you all my fellow gremlins have been waiting for. All of us, we really want is one thing, and we want one thing only, and that is Blood Drinker. This thing is getting a buff by -5%, and they added a benefit of a lesser decrease in damage if the target is diseased. Huge. bonus, because in arenas this was a major problem for me, and it would cost me a lot of fights, because in arenas I basically would have a flat 13% damage reduction and my life stealing would be 0, and due to that this would just be a flat nerf. But they're nerfing this by 5%, so I can actually do the math right now. Right now Blood Drinker nerfs your damage by roughly 13%. So if we change that by 10, 20, 20, 25%, right? So 10, 10, 1.3 plus 1.3 plus, let's say 6, so that's 2.6, 3.2. So now we'll have a 10% damage nerf. So this is a big buff. This increases our damage by 3%. If my math is correct, which it should be. 1137ZEP. I hope the new map has many churches to pray to have more sources of damage. Dude, there is so many ways to get damage in Season 10. I think it's going to be a problem. You have a lot of ways to min-max your build for either style you want. Nothing that we've ever seen before. You can max out on lifesteal, tankiness, damage, or just a mixture of both. Whatever you really want, you can get now. Before, it was very stock standard what you had to build. So Blood Drinker, massive buff here. I will still run this, of course. It's so good. And now it's only a negative 10% damage. That's insane because it gives you so much lifesteal. And due to the fact that we're getting so many different damage modifiers, this should still be extremely, extremely broken. But if you guys are enjoying the videos or the breakdown so far, you can smash a like, subscribe on YouTube. It forces the video into the algorithm whether it likes it or not. You can follow me on Twitch or become a Twitch subscriber. It's absolutely free, or become a YouTube channel member. I would greatly appreciate it. Support the brotherhood. You can make me do whatever you want on stream, or if you want a video idea you want me to cover, I will also do that. I am like your little chihuahua. I will bark for you endlessly. Aha! Runic Greaves! I don't know. And quick draw gloves, these ones are just okay. They're not that good. Shrapnels, switch from headshots to critical hits. It's okay. Wait, this one could be good. I don't remember what this does. Hold on, let me look this one up. W Wolfenite, thank you, brother. I'm gonna look this up. Hold on, give me a minute. This is something I didn't catch either. I thought this was useless. What's this artifact called? Shrapnel. Okay. So right now, shrapnel headshots to enemies cause bleed for 10% for 6 seconds. Now, it's going to be on crits. That's much better. Wow, that is insanely better. That's a huge increase in terms of power. I don't think it's going to be meta still, but that made this thing for one of the worst artifacts, dude. You know, it's aight. It's aight. Let it cook. Did they say what Hardy is going to change to? So Hardy is going to change to, I forget actually. They did say what it was going to change to in the patch notes. It's something that gives you, I think, damage by 5%. Something that gives you damage by 5%, along that lines. It seemed like a solid perk. Auto change with Blood Drinker emitting Vortex might go crazy, dude. That's what I'm saying. You know what's gonna go crazy, Kino? My Spear Leeching Cyclone that got nerfed by half. Why is that allowed? Can someone explain that? That makes no sense to me. Atsu. Increase power from 10 to 20% on both haste and damage. This is a huge buff, doubling and pass it on to the next person. Grace is still terrible. I just think this thing needs a massive increase. Unless his ability damage is like 30%, it's just useless. Freya's going to be very strong. If you guys have been PvPing a lot, like I do sometimes, throwing hatchet builds are very prevalent. And this is a buff to all the throwing hatchets, which is a massive problem because I think this is very frustrating to fight. What is the OnlyFans? Send me an invite. Sly Piper 070. Welcome back. Hope you're having a great day, dude. That's for exclusive members only, dude. I can't afford to let that out for free. Kino says I used to play Odo and Spear, but I guess I'll use Odo now for lifesteal. Yeah, that's interesting how they're changing that to lifesteal with no shield. And right now the flail meta is no shield. I don't think anyone's running flail with a shield. It's just not good. Compare that. If you can run flail without a shield, it's just better. So this is just another buff across the board. The blade. I think this is okay. This is a big nerf though. Doubling the disease to yourself to 2% from Plague Herald. Finally, one of the most annoying artifacts New World's ever released is getting nerfed. I am very grateful, and I will kiss New World's devs' feet tomorrow, I promise you. Because this is massive, dude. Massive for your boy. Yes, unless use SNS, no reason to shield with flail. True, Kino. Very bad. All right, let's go over a few things. Life staff, useless. The damage on Great Axe got a multiplier increase by 5%. That's pretty big, actually. Base damage from 75 to 77. That's a rough damage increase. 3%, not too big. They're increasing the damage for these weapons. The bigger ones is the crit damage multiplier. Bow. Crit chance from 7 to 8. These are just minor changes. Ice Gauntlet. Didn't get changed at all. Rapier didn't get changed at all. Musket. Base damage and crit chance have also been increased. So Musket Rats do get a lot of love. And Fire Staff. Increase how much the Fire Staff base damage reduce in PvP from 13 to 15. It gets a nerf by 2%. Already, dude. They are terrified of all the damage buffs they have for it. Which, to be fair, is pretty nice. I think Fire Staff is going to be meta. Okay, let's break down the meta weapons. They're not all here, but Life Staff, we're going to cut that one out. I think Great Axe is going to be very good next patch. Great Sword will be very good as well. I think these two will be the best two-handers. Hammer, I think will be okay. Still solid. I think Bow and Musket will be the best ranged weapons. Simply due to the new damage changes. I think they'll outshine Fire Staff and Ice Gauntlet. Ice Gauntlet didn't get a lot of love through these patch notes because it can't value the same type of perks like the Enchanted Ward perks that are giving you flat damage. It doesn't get much from there. The abilities, it gets something from there from Spike, but Ice Gauntlet is kind of like a very good mixture of both, so it doesn't benefit too much from those type of perks. Fire Staff is in that same boat, right? Fire Staff can't benefit from light and heavies and abilities because it uses both for majority of its damage. I think that's going to be something that holds it back. Where Musket and Bow, they're 100% focused on their light and heavy, so I think they're going to be very good next patch. I think Fire Staff will also be very good, though. I think Voidgon will be okay, mid. I think SNS will be not good. I think Flail will be very good. I don't have all the weapons in front of me, of course not. Am I missing a weapon? You have Rapier will be solid. Spear will be okay. Blunderbuss will be broken. I really think Blunderbuss will be effing broken. Hold on, let's go up. I want to check that stamina perk while I'm thinking about this. Attributes. It's in here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Gamble Energy, which grants 2.5 to 5% damage when stamina is not full. Basically a, opal. Yeah, I was right. I thought it was 5% damage. I just couldn't remember what made it 5% when your stamina's not full. So very good perk for Great Sword and stuff like that. Rapier Inferno will be very fun for PvP, dude. Rapier Inferno. I don't think Inferno. Are you sure? Because Inferno now scales off of strength, dude. That's the major problem, man. I don't think if that's the problem with that change to these artifacts. It just really guts them. This stupid B scaling, I think, is really bad. This makes these artifacts so limited in build diversity. I think this is a big mistake. Cool, Professor Jackson. Welcome, dude. We're having a great day, dude. How you doing? I haven't seen you before. Only strength, though? No, dude. It's both. It's BB. So B, in terms of scaling, is... So S is 91 to 100. I can just use this. So S equals 91 plus. A equals 81 plus. B equals 71 plus. This makes all these artifacts really bad unless you can dual scale them. Thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it, Mr. Attack 2K. What do you think will be paired with Musket next season? I think it's going to be Void Gauntlet for one-shots, Rapier for survivability. For PvE, I think it's going to be Void Gauntlet because it's a very good combo. They both scale off the same thing and they synergize extremely well together. I think that will be the combo. This is why the Inferno and Abyss and Life Taker are not going to be good for a majority of weapons because of this B scaling of 71. How do you clean this, by the way? Is there a way to clean this? I think it's like, is it like this? So we have right now 105% fortify. This is insane damage number. And then we have the B scaling is 71 to, I think, 80%. This is the reason why these artifacts are not going to be good. Lick the screen, dude. I don't think that'll work, dude. I might get electrocuted. Ciceron says, been light SNS since day one. Won't abandon it now, dude. You'll die on that ship, dude. I do not think light SNS will be good. But you can try it and you can tell me how it goes. I would love to see it. But there is a lot. I think that's mainly everything I wanted to talk about. I'll go over my build real quick. And then if you guys want, we can continue to discuss the patch notes. Or we can... I'll do a poll. Notes. Yes. PV or new world. So I'll start the poll. If you guys want to vote, let me know. Well, before that, I want to go over my build, what I want to prioritize, because I know people want to know that. So I want to get this enraged set. This will be my #1 priority come season 10, as I think this is a very broken set, because you compare it with this perk right here, 20% lifesteal, and you can compare it with this perk right here. We will deal 20% more damage to you in an instantaneous burst window. This will also allow you to dance between this one and this one. Very good. I want to try this build with a very high health stacking setup. I think that will be very strong. After that, the other things that are interesting is this perk. I think is very good on Greatsword as well, due to the fact that you can be exhausted on Greatsword and still play the game just fine. You'll get these massive stacks for lifesteal and power for 5 seconds while exiting exhausted state. I think this will be very, very good. Pair that with this extra % crit chance, and you can't be interrupted. This is massive for something like the Crescent Wave. In terms of utility, I want to try this as well. These other sets I don't really like too much for the way I play the game. They just don't give me enough utilities. Like this silencing sounds nice, but I don't really care for that. And the tenacity set, you don't need that. That'll be me. I'll try 100% enraged and second wind. Now, in terms of standalone and fixes, the best ones by far are close quarters, but I'm not ranged, So I don't really have too many good options here. I think Poison Affinity could be strong if I can proc a Rune Glass all the time, as that's just a flat 15% damage increase, which will be very, very strong. Thwarting Sun could be fun to mess around with as well, or Critical Storm, as that's just a massive little burst window you can grab. I'll have to think about that a little longer. For my perks that I want to get no matter what, it'll definitely be, I think Shrinking Heals will be very good. These are the charms, by the way. Enchanted Ward, I think will still be good, but I want to get Keenly Fortify. Oh, here we missed this one. Okay, so we have plus 20. So we have 135% Fortify. Ooh, that's pretty good. So this one I definitely think you want to grab 100%. So Kingly Fortify, Shirking, and Enchanted are all solid options, but since you only should be choosing between 2 defensive at the max, I want to prioritize Shirking with one of these. You only can stack this one time. After Shirking, since you'll be able to probably choose more of these, I would probably say my next choice would be Enchanted Ward or Invigorating. Haste of Vigor is also kind of nice. And then offensive slots, I think this, the ideal, by the way, I think would be 1 defensive slot and you want more offensive slots. As offensive slots are very good because you can pair Enchanted and Skill Enchanted. These two are very strong. You can stack this 5 times, so that'll be 10% increased damage if I can get that on all my pieces. I also will then want to stack Vicious if I can. That's an additional 3% damage times 5, so 15% damage. After that, I don't really care too much. You can maybe look to get this stuff as well. These 3 are solid. These are 1 perkers. You can't stack them. I think stacking Leeching as well is something I want to do. So I'll be stacking Leeching with Enchanted and Vicious. One question I do have is, can you use Vicious and Keen together? Because right now, this seems like this would be like an illegal combo to me. It'd be very strong. But if you could stack them together, that seems pretty good. But everything else I would just avoid. In terms of weapon skills, I'll be running Great Sword. What's Great Sword? I won't be running anything in here except maybe Relentless Freedom. Everything else, I just don't think it's ever worth running for Great Sword. For my other secondary, for Great Axe, Enfeebling Maelstrom or Refreshing Charge could definitely be on the menu, boys. Looking pretty juicy and delicious. I'm hungry. If I run Flail, I definitely want Mending Vortex and Power Eruption. These are just broken. I don't think I want to play Spear, dude. Like, the nerf to Leeching Cyclone is huge. Like, that's such a disgusting nerf. Way too harsh. Hatchet, I'll be running King Berserk. I think I'll be it in Hatchet. Let me look at it. Social Distance. You know, with Social Distance, Quick Power Haste is active. Will extend the duration of the slow by 714%. And increase the base damage of the attack by 7%. Not worth running, so just King Berserk. After that, we will scroll down. So these are the perks, right? So you have 2 of these per pieces of gear no matter what. I'm not sure how many you get on your weapon. I think it's 2 perks still for your weapon. So no matter what, you still have to pick 2 of these. Sundering stacks, I think, should be ran on every weapon this patch, as there will be an insane amount of tankiness I foresee coming in the future. After that, if you can swap one of these, or actually any of these are all solid perks. I would then go down. Where else would I go? There's one more. I think this could be a fun one to try. And as this is the Strength passive, Life Stealing, or Keen Speed, I think is the other 2 I would try. I love Life Stealing, so I'll probably choose Life Stealing, but Keen Speed seems really good on certain weapons. I think think that's mostly everything I want in here. Unless I'm missing something and I'm blind. I do have to wear glasses for a reason. All right, so that would be my weapon perks. That covers that. And you get 2 armor perks. So no matter what, you'll have 2 of these on your gear. I think stacking, shirking, and fortification will be 100% the way to go next patch, unless you're light. Because like my little beautiful math here, we have 135% fortify, up almost 100% of the time. This is so much tankiness. Not balanced, by the way, not balanced. After that, so I want to get this probably on all my pieces. You definitely want to get Vital Synergy on 1, so I would have 4 more left. I would want this one, so I have 3 left. This one's really good. I think I would want to try this one as well for extra damage. I would have 2 left. My last 2 would be what? I think maybe I just put this on here for extra damage. Yeah, I think that sounds good. Oh no, I'd put Prolonged Favor. That's better. For additional tankiness. How do the perks work for armor? Like, do you slot them all? Mr. Alex. I think Perforate Chain is good enough for me to not leave Spirit. The Perforate Chain is crazy, but I don't use Perforate. But that is true. Maybe I should try it because of that. You might be right, Kino. I might go back to my old beauty, the old pokey machine. But Mr. Alex, let me answer your question. How do perks work for armor? So for armor, you will have 2 perks. So let's go up here, right? You see these perks? These will all go on your gear. You will have 2 of these on your gear no matter what. So after these 2 will be locked to your gear, you cannot change those. Then we'll scroll all the way up. And then you'll be able to slot 3 charms. This is random. You can slot 3 defensive, 3 offensive, or 3 skills. It depends completely on RNG. And I would say ideally, the way you would want to go over is you want 1 defensive slot, 2 offensive slots, and then your skill slots will be like 1 or 2 total. Because depending on your loadout. Do you think, Alex says, light or heavy will be the way? I think medium will be the way. I think heavy will be very strong because you won't be able to die at all. But you're very immobile and it's not very fun. But I think heavy is the way to go because shirking and fortification look beyond broken. And I wouldn't be surprised if this gets nerfed in the first month. Usually, neural devs take a long time, but I feel like everyone will be racing for shirking fortification. Why do you prefer shirking heals over enchanted ward? Professor Jaxel says. Before I get to yours, let me say goodnight to Mr. Wolf and Night. Time for me to have a good stream. Have a good stream tonight, so thank you for stopping by, Wolf and Night. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Hopefully tomorrow you can have a good day at work and you can come back and chill with your boy. Have a good night. Why do I prefer shirking heals over enchanted ward? Okay, let me break down the math. We'll go, where is enchanted ward? I have to find it first. Okay, so shirking heals. So the value in shirking heals in this patch is 250 health, 1.5% max health. So this got nerfed by a total of about 25%. You know, give a percent here or there. Where enchanted ward got nerfed by 50% in total. That's a big nerf. An enchanted ward is very good, right? But shirking heals is even better because it's a flat health increase every time you roll. So if you have, I would imagine your health would be around 12,000. Let me pull up a calculator so I don't get this math wrong. Calculator. So if I have 12,000 HP and I want to multiply that by, how do you do that math? 0.12? 144 plus 200. So you get 344 a roll. And then you'll have generally healing effects on that. that's going to be more likely the damage you'll get from Enchanted Ward. Because you'll be getting hit by abilities and dots and stuff like that, right? Enchanted won't cover that, where this is a one-size-fits-all. That's the reason why I will personally prioritize it over it. I could be wrong, and Enchanted still could be meta. I think this is something nobody knows about right now. If Enchanted is still going to be good enough to run at 2% from the nerf of 4. Nullifying Oblivion Orb will strip Fortify Piper. That is true, but not many people, you know, Island Voidgon's going to be very prevalent next patch. That is the toughest one. I'm going to tell you, dude. I don't know if Enchanted Ward is going to be meta or not. I really don't. I still think it'll be a solid perk no matter what. But something else that could be good, right, is Anointed Lifesteal. So this is a math one. I would have to do the math on this. This is a very simple math question. How much lifesteal do I have, and do I get enough value out of this to make it worth running? That's a very simple math question. We do not know that. I do not have the math right now for that. But that is the reason why I would run Shirking over Enchanted right now. Because Enchanted would be good to counter the range players, but Enchanted is weaker to counter stuff like Hammer, Great Axe, SNS, Spear, Flail, like all these other weapons. Enchanted is not that good at beating. And before, Enchanted was so high that it was just always worth running. But now it got nerfed by 50%. So I don't think it's going to be the best in slot perk anymore for defensive, but I still think it'll be A tier for sure. It'll still be good no matter what. It's just such a solid perk. Kino says, what do you think about exhaust effects making you uninterruptible? Seems like good tracking. Weapons like Voidblade will purposely get exhausted now. Exhaust effects make you uninterruptible. I think that's going to be very strong on, yeah, Voidblade. But Voidblade doesn't seem strong. I'm more worried about SNS and Great Axe. As Great Axe tracking is phenomenal. I think it has some of the best tracking in the entire game. I think that could also be a strategy. I'm not sure of how broken that's going to be. Alex Phoebe says, you're saying that the 10% won't be as good as having Shirking on every piece. I think so. It also depends on how much health we can get. That's something I don't know, right? Right now, I don't know our max health. I don't know if it's going to be lower than what I think is about 14-ish K. But maybe it's going to be lower. And then that'll make Shirking heals worse because it's, you know, based off your max HP. So that's something you have to also keep in mind is nobody knows our max HP. So Shirking heals should be stronger than Enchanted, but if our max HP is lower than anticipated, then Enchanted could be better. So that's something you have to know. I wouldn't worry too much about defensive slots as you're only going to be slotting in 1 max per armor piece. You want definitely the 2 offensive. I think offensive looks way better than the defensive. I think fortifying that you apply last longer is a very strong one as well. And it could look to even outshine these depending on how much fortification we can grab and the min-maxing math on that. But no matter what, you'll want this perk. Keenly Fortified will be 100% on one of your pieces. You want this no matter what. Very broken perk next patch. For your other 3 or 4 defensive slots that you'll have, depending on the gear you're running, you can either run the Fortify, Shirking, or Enchanted, or the Lifestealing one, or something like Invigorated. Just depends on the total values that we can grab. And if you're able to get this other perk on yourself, which is, where is it? Where's the Prolonged Favor perk that increases everything on you by 2? Here it is. It depends also how much you can get this one on yourself. When you combine those two things, everybody wants me to play or to keep talking about the patch notes. So that'll be the like big thing, right? Is how much fortify we can stack. So next patch, I think stacking fortify will be the way to go for every build except perhaps light. And even with light, I could see it being worth it simply due to the fact of how easy it is to stack. How does fortifying work? So if you have like your pieces of gear, right? So if I have this, whoa, can I grab this? No. Dude, why can't I? Oh my gosh, I made it too small. So if I have 1,000 armor, it'll just multiply it by 10%. So I'll get 1,100 armor. Now they could change this so fortify is multiplicative, which means if I times this by another 10%, it could be 110 increase, or it'll go off our base value still, where it's only 100 increase. This is what we don't know. Well, you'll immediately find this out in season 10 if it goes up by, it goes multiplicative, or it stays off your base value. How do slots work per gear, piece, helmet, gloves, etc., or per character? So when you get your pieces of gear, right, in New World, you'll have 1, 2, 3 these are your charm sockets, and you'll have 2 perks. So we'll use this as perks. These are your perks. You cannot change your perks, but you can change your charms. If you do M3s, you get a 4th charm. So the bonus charm, we'll do a little plus in there. So you get 4 charms as your bonus. So that's why I'm saying most builds will probably want 2 offensive and 1 defensive mixed in with skills that they want to run. This is what most builds are going to want to have, is 2 offensive with 1 defensive, as the offensive perks at the moment just seem flat out better, or the offensive charms. You can get much better value out of them, and damage stacking seems to be the stronger way to go, as the perks themselves. So the D things, these things, we'll put X's in here. These things seem much more for your defensive value. Oh no, hold on, this is wrong. Oh, whatever. These things right here, right? These things seem much better for your defensive value as perks than charms do right now. Charms feel much better for offensive, and perks feel much better for defensive. Just based off the values we see, or at least in my opinion, I would say that's what I personally believe will be the case. There's also the 1 perkers that you always want, like Keenly Fortified. This is a must-have. Stuff like offensive also has stuff like that as well, where I would say Clean Power could be very good to grab, as this can be now slotted on your armor, and that Empower is super nice, as it's very consistent. But stuff like Vicious and Enchanted or Skill Enchantment, these are very good to stack. So that's why I would say you would want 2 offensive and 1 defensive. Because defensive, the only thing that really blows my mind is this perk, and then after that, like, the values here just don't seem as high. Though if we roll down all the way to the bottom here to like the weapon, like the weapons and shields are going to follow the same system as the armor, where I believe, I could be wrong here, but you have 3 of charms and 2 perks. This will be, and because of that, you'll want to select the best 2 perks that you can muster, or maybe they'll have a gem slot. That's the one thing they don't mention at all in the patch note, is gem slots. It's the only thing I am still confused about. At this point, I understand everything pretty well, I would say, but they didn't ever specify how gem slotting is going to work. Are we going to be able to reslot gems if we want to change them? Yes, you'll be able to reslot them. They said they want you to be able to pick and choose what you want with charms. You won't be able to change perks though, I believe. I think perks will be locked to the gear. So when you get your gear right away, right, you'll have two options. So let's say we are playing New World and we get a good roll where we get our golden, 1 defensive, and we get our 2 offensive charms. Let's put a plus in here so it's easier to understand. And then let's say we get 1 good perk, so our perk will be an X. We get 1 good perk and then we get a bad perk. Now, here is where you would have a choice if you want to upgrade this all the way or keep it, basic. And this isn't even including set bonuses. This is just your flat gear pieces. I know it's so much to do, but at some point a tier list of best in slot perk or theory craft best in slot would be so hot. But I could do that as a prediction for season 10, what I think is going to be best in slot. I think at the moment, if I did a tier list, I would be here until I would croak. But if I just went over like 8 S tier perks, that'd be much easier to do. Because I think 8 S tier is much more clean to convey. Like, I think this will be the perk everyone will run though. You want shirking fortification. No matter what, you should be grabbing this perk. Very strong. 9% is a massive increase. With a 6-second uptime is insanity. What secondary are you going to be running with Crescent? Wave? Mr. Big Dumb Monster? I was thinking either, so we're going to run GS, right? I like this little thing we got here. I'm going to try GS GA. Will be my first combo. I will also try Hatchet. I will still give Spear a chance because I love Spear. A little 5 there for Spear. Anything else I want to try? I think Flail would be fun, but Flail lacks mobility, but I still think it'd be really fun. So Flail plus GS. I think that'd be mainly it. I think SNS is dead. I think it looks really bad. They nerfed it again. And the no staggering on Leaping Strike is horrendous, dude. Holy crap, that is terrible. Bandito says, I think that's a typo. It's not damage, rather increase armor. Where? Oh yeah, this is a typo. This should be a typo. It shouldn't be. I don't think it's damage absorption. It should be armor. That's what I mean. I think armor. I'm going off the armor value, Bandito. I didn't even realize it was absorption. Because 4 to 5 means armor. So my head this was armor the whole time. I think the armor. If this was damage absorption, bro, this would be the most disgusting thing ever in in the history of game, bro. You would be tankier by 45% the whole time. Yeah, that would be disgusting. I'm going off 4 to 5. In terms of armor increasing, I still think this is 100% worth running. Yes, that would be sick, Alex, for the best perks. So you technically would have 5 times 9% fortification. Yes. So you would have 45% from Shirking Fort. You would have 20% from your amulet, or your earring, I believe. Another 20% from that thing you can proc. You can get another 20%, let's say, from the thingy. And then I'm missing some. Again, I forget where the last bit comes from. But we basically figured out you got 2, 1, 3, 5. Oh yeah, if you run tumblers, it's another 15%. So you just stack all these constantly. I thought that's what I thought as well. Pairing that up with Keenly Fortify wouldn't be bad. Yeah. And then you mix that with the prolonged stack. Whew. What did they do? The SNS, they just nerfed it. All the perks are nerfed. Leaping Strike, the thing that used to make you fly like a wild animal across the map, it no longer staggers the enemy, and I think that was a catastrophic nerf to the weapon. I think also Prolonged Favor will be a must-have for a lot of builds, as 10% increase to your durations, right, is super good, as this will count towards your Fortify. So if you think about it, right, if I can run 2 or 3 of these on my gear, that's 30% increase uptime. So if I have 6 seconds, 6 times 1.3 should roughly be 6, 12, 18, should roughly be 7.8 seconds. There's no fortify cap. It's, and I think it's like 250 or something. Professor, there's no, I am 100% positive there's no fortify cap. If there is one, it's so high you'll never hit it. Or if the fortify cap is, it will be like 100%. And we'll be able to tell if you can hit it. So it's not 50 like the other ones. Otherwise, fortify would be terrible. So so that's what I mean. So if you compare, you want prolonged favor, shirking, and you want vital synergy on one. You'll want this drop 1-on-1. You'll want, I think this won't be fun to try. I don't think this will be as like S tier. In terms of S tier is prolong, shirking, vital, and after that, I would say that's the 3 S tier perks. I would say this one will be fun to test out. Terminal Vengeance, it could be really good. I think Sacrificing Empowerment could also be really solid. I think that's about it. Magneto says the only thing that counted this would be the Nullifying Aura from VG since that perk got buffed. Let's read that perk since. Let's see what it says. Where is it? Did I pass before going? Nullifying Aura. While active, Oblivion removes limited duration buffs to the target in its radius and increases the cool duration of limited duration debuffs on target by 30%. That is a pretty hefty nerf to my fortify strategy, but I don't think enough people are going to be running this to where I have to worry. Yo, what's up, Inglis Mar? Hello, love your content. I'm glad I could catch the stream, dude. Thank you so much for the support, brother. I greatly appreciate it. Is Curse Island good for gathering? Yeah, it's solid. I don't know in terms of it's the best in slot for gathering, but I think it's really good. I'm not too much of a farmer. I know the best fiber farm is in Restless. Unless you're right, the fortifying cap is 200%. That's broken. See, I told you. I was right. I said 200, 250%. So you'll never hit the fortifying cap. I've never seen a single person hit it. So you'll never have to worry about it. So right now, our build has 135 fortify. So we could still fit 65% more fortify into our monstrosity. With all that fortify, can you imagine using the grit set so broken? The grit set. Did I miss something? Scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. Attributes, perks, notes and sets. Oh, we already passed it. Set bonuses. You said, I would imagine the tenacity set. This set? Staggers, I don't think it would be that amazing. Pen, crit chance. 5% less damage while grid is active. This is nullifies this. I don't think this, I don't know. I feel like it's a little weak. There's one that has fortify in here. I remember reading it. This is a broken passive. 10% damage absorption while silenced. This is gross, but it's only for 1 second, so not completely broken. I'm trying to find the one that has fortify on it. Yo, thank you for the follow, brother. Greatly appreciate it. My brother is going to start playing New World, but he's so bullheaded. He won't change his idea on 2 weapons, which is musket BB, dude. Let him cook, bro. It's not good, but let that man cook. I believe he's going to be Gordon Ramsay. With all that... Sorry, enraged. Enraged. I think Enrage is gonna be, yeah, that's what I'm telling you, dude. This is why I think this set's broken. I think there's so much tankiness, so much like this gives you so much damage multiplication. It gives you a total of 32%. So we get 32% in total. Let's write down a note. And then we take an additional 12.5%. 12.5%, but we always will be about below 70% health. So this is annoying, but if we're on Greatsword, we're actually still getting a solid tankiness stat. So this is how I look at it. So this is why I'm about to share the secret sauce. So if we get 25% increased damage, right? And we take 12.5%, but if we're in Defiant Stance, we will still be taking a negative 2.5% damage and still dealing an additional 10%. Math. So if we sit in Defiant Stance, we're getting a net value and a net value. So this set actually gives us 0 debuffs, except for the problem under 70% HP, but we get 8% extra damage, and you also get 20% lifesteal, and you can hit massive heavies here for 20% more in damage. This set is just so broken, dude. It's so overtuned. The New World devs were smoking some good crap when they made this one. I'm telling you, dude, this will be the set to grab. It's just so good across the board. And it says some slower weapons can generate rage at 2 perks hit due to slow attack rate. What I wonder by that is if it's talking about the like Greatsword has slow attack. So I wonder if that would count. And then if it has an additional, so that means a heavy attack can give you 3 stacks at a time. This is a big nerf though, 5% of your max every half second. So you're almost always going to be below 70% health. That is the major problem. Do you know where we're going to farm it? I think it comes from dungeons, PvP, and raids. I think it comes in all 3. I think you need to do all the content if you want 5 pieces or maybe 2 of the content. I'm not sure, but it comes from multiple different content pieces. Hino says, I don't know what they mean by saying ultra rare for these sets though. Need more poison damage stuff. Raw and run. There is a poison damage thing. There is that. This one's really broken for a poison, dude. This should be more than enough to make you smile. New raid at Big Na Monster. Kino. Yeah. But this poison, I wonder if the rune glasses can give you poison, dude. Oh lord. Imagine you have a rune glass with poison and you can get this. Oh my gosh. The damage multiplication is gonna be through the roof. Because these aren't empowers. You can stack these infinitely unless they're hiding that from me. Do you think the second win set is OP too? The second win set. Let me say, here it is. Yeah, not bad with that 20% poison plus rune glass new bow. Yeah, dude, that's what I mean. It looks really good. There's a lot of good stuff. All right, let's break down the second win set. So you'll do 20% more base damage to enemies within 5 meters. Hitting an enemy with 5 meters will remove the slow and becoming exhausted by dodging. So while exhausted, your attacks at enemies within 5 meters have 10% lifesteal and 3% of power stacks that last 5 seconds while exiting the exhausted state. I think this is the second set I want to pair with Enrage. I think these are the best 2 sets. I'm not counting healer sets because healer sets are just for healers. They don't count. They're not real people, let's be honest. I don't... hold on, we have... Red says, funny you say that because he mentions Gordon in every second sentence. He's obsessed, dude. He's obsessed with the Ramsey, bro. He's an Iron Chef in the making, then. But in turn, I think second one will be very good as well. Only with certain weapons, of course. This one's a bit more situational. As this perk right here, in my opinion, is what really makes it broken. This one's also very good. This one's solid as well. The cleansing second wind, so you remove the dot on you, get more damage, and you can't be CC'd. I don't know what I just do, but what did I just click? Is it from that? I don't know what happened. Something came up. Well, anyways, let's keep going down. I think it's from my page here. It's not you, it's me. Something went wrong. Dude, what went wrong? Okay. All right. Well, we fixed it. Simple. Smash my keyboard. Eventually, it'll work. But he can't cook for the life of him, dude. That's rough. That's not a good combination. But in terms of sets, I think this will be very good for a lot of melee builds. Hitting a tire. Some of these just don't seem very good. This one seems so weird to me. Because your magic weapon abilities do less damage, but you gain 10% base damage to the element. It's just so, yeah. This pass is really strong though. 5% less elemental damage you take. Extra mana regen is completely irrelevant. You never need mana regen, you have mana pots. So the only thing you have to remember, right, is these infixes and these other infixes will take a perk slot. Meaning, if we have our 7 perk slots from earlier, one of them is disappearing to one of these infixes. So we'll have to wait and see. I need a drink of water, dude. I'm so thirsty. I am so thirsty. Where are the cooking and finishing patching notes to give people what they want? I don't think they're changing any of the trade skills, Jackal. I don't think any of the trade skills are getting any love. This is a pure content packed update. I think that's most of the stuff we wanted to cover. Like shrinking power. Oh, dude, this is going to be so broken next patch. It's going to be so easy to get to 50% in power. This is 30% right here for one perk. If you combine that with tumblers and a honing stone, you're already at empower cap. Alex says, what server do I play on? I play on NA West. I'm an NA West rat, dude. I don't mess with those East Coast, dude. We're all about the NA West over here. El Dorado is the server to be on. The city of gold, and my pockets are still dry as the desert. This is quite sad to see. But chat, what do you guys think is the most broken perk though that we've covered or set? I gotta know, chat. What do you guys think? I've given my opinion a lot, but you guys must have something cooking over there. What are you doing that? I want to stack how much. I want to see how much lifesteal I can stack. At 3 upload paint. Okay, so we have 20% from Blood Drinker. Let's keep going. How much lifestealing can I get this patch? Wait, we can also get 20% from that set. So that's another 20%. We can get 15 plus 15 from that perk. Where's the perk? Where's the perk? It's a perk on your armor. I know you guys believe me. Where else can we get life stealing? No life stealing, no life stealing. Get on your ring? I don't think there's any life stealing on your ring anymore. No, there's none. Oh, so sad. Really? There's no, I just realized that there's no more life stealing on my ring. Well, that's a problem. No life stealing here. No life. This is a perk I was talking about. It gives you 30%. We can get on our weapons. So that's plus 5. We get 5% there. We can also get it. I'm not going to count any of that. We can also get anointed lifesteal. We can grab leeching here 4. So we get 4 times 5, which is 20. Is that all the lifestealing we can acquire, boys? I think that's everything, right? I'm pretty sure. Oh, we can also get it from the other perk, right? Technically, we can get it from second wind. So we can get an additional 50%. So we have 20, 20. That's 40 plus 30. That's 70. So we have 75%. And then we have an additional 20. We'll put the 20 plus 50 at the bottom because it's not as consistent. So we can get 70%. But we can get a total of 140% lifesteal in this patch. So we're about to become Count Dracula in Season 10? Yes, Red GG. Look at all the lifestealing we can acquire. 140%. Let me make it more clear. 140 lifesteal. Oh boy, that's a lot. That's of course going full into lifesteal, and that's with this thing procced. Which I think is a little bit unfair, so we'll minus 50. We'll say a good day. 90% is the most realistic, as this thing is not as consistent. I'm gonna add this 20 because we'll be running this and I'll be up all the time. So with 20% in mind, if we take this perk, where is it? Anointed lifesteal, 7% value. So 7% value. 10% is 9. And 3% less of 9. What's 3% of 9? Is that how that works? That should be how that works. 2.7. While I'm doing math, I think it's about 6.3. So each of these could give me 6.3 additional lifesteal. And if we times that by 5, we get about 32%. So if we max out our lifesteal, we can get up to 172%. Oh my gosh. Every attack's gonna heal you for the full amount of health. You literally don't even need HP. Your attacks are HP. Honestly, fortification and power combo seems nice. Shirking, I like shirking for bow. Yeah, it does seem pretty solid. But what about my lifesteal strategy? This one seems really good. 172, dude. Maxed out. So that means this perk would be more useless than leeching up until what? 40, 50. I would say maybe about 60%. Once you get 60% lifesteal, then actually getting this is better. That's interesting. So 60% plus you want this. And before 60% you want this. Dot builds could become a problem. Fire staff, dot perks, ability damage perks, fire staff damage, and that artifact that increases dot damage, empowering fireball, and sundering stacks on staff. Big booms. That is big booms. But I'm not too worried about fire staff. I don't think it's going to be this broken. I'm much more scared of muskets. You are right. You can stack a lot of ability damage through skill enchantment and the other perks we've seen. There's definitely a very high amount of damage stacking you can acquire. Much higher than in previous seasons. Musket's going to be really scary. I think Musket's going to be the best ranged weapon next patch. Musket paired with Life Taker is going to be disgusting. Because Life Taker scales perfectly with the musket, and that's what we already see right now all the time in OPR. And it's also going to be very strong in PvE as well. So musket players will have one build that fits everything. That's not good, as most builds don't have that. I think You have a power shot. It's getting late though. The new musket one-shot mountain camper sniper builds, dude. You know, dude, you're gonna get the firing squad. You're gonna see the musket builds load up together and then just start one-shotting everybody as a unit. One musket to rule them all, as they say. That's what's gonna be coming next patch. I think that covers almost all the patch notes I wanted to talk about. I think, yeah. If you guys want, I could do a tier list for the perks come season 10. So exactly what I think is going to be really good and really bad. Light armor is dead. I don't think light armor is dead. I think light armor is still really good. Just no light melee builds will be using it anymore. That's the only problem. I think light melee is pretty much dead. You won't be able to contend with the range players anymore. And the main culprit of that is actually in fixed perk. This perk right here, where is it, will be very broken. Light and heavy attacks with ranged weapons within 10 meters deal 20% increased damage. This is not going to be fun for anyone running melee. I think this is one of the best perks this patch as well. I think this will get nerfed. It's way too overtuned. You can stack so much damage right now. I think it's around. If I had to take a guess, you can stack your light and heavies by around 50%. And this is a multiplier, right? This is 20% more damage. So what happens is you'll be multiplying this 50 by an additional 20. So if your base damage is 100, you get 50 up, so you do 150, and then this base damage should be multiplying this again by 20. So you'll be doing roughly 180% weapon damage. And then you pair that with Empower Cap, so you have 180 base times 50%. You will get 270% damage, and since you can put all your points in attributes, you'll be doing even more damage. So muskets and bows will be hitting insanely hard. I'm fading, but I would love to be able to watch the ranking tomorrow. Maybe I can maybe break it down. It is getting late though for me. I'll be streaming tomorrow. I don't want to stream too much right now, as I've been trying to take care of everything in real life before season 10 drops, so I can dedicate all my time and energy to it and drop as many videos as I can. I'll be like a little one-man factory, dude, working all day and night. This is a big nerf. Defines, this is so sad. I won't be running Defines and Divine anymore. So depressing, so depressing. Look at that, dude. Just completely meta-defining stuff. I also want to try the new heart rune. This seems really good as well. The only thing I wish they told us was the damage. Like, why don't they say 100% weapon damage, but they don't tell you if it procs every second or every half second? Baby VG Giga Meta incoming. BB, I think it's gonna be actually Infernal BB, dude. I think that's the meta. One of the strongest combos next patch will be BB plus Fire Staff. This will be extremely good. I think this will be an S plus tier combo. A lot of people will be using this. Another one will be Musket plus Void Gauntlet. This will be another S plus tier combo. If I had to keep going, what would be another really broken combo? I feel like Great Axe is going to be very good next patch as well. Great Axe plus anything really, like Hammer or GS or Hatchet. All these should be very good S plus combo. Great Axe is super strong right now, and these buffs make it even better. I think Great Sword will be good as well. I'm not going to count Life Staff. I think Bow will be good, but I don't think it's going to break into this tier. That'll be like S. I think these are going to be the most prevalent combos. BB, Fire Staff, Musket, Void Gauntlet. These will be everywhere. And then the melee boys will have Great Axe to catch these rats. And then they're going to pair it with something like Great Sword, Hatchet, or Hammer. If I had to guess what the meta is going to be next season, it's going to be these type of weapons. I think Great Axe will be a must-have to catch all the glass cannon builds. Another build will be actually, I forgot, Rapier plus something. Rapier plus like a Musket or Fire Staff or Bow. This will always be an S plus tier build. This will basically be all the builds coming in Season 10 that are going to be really good. Alright, with that, boys, I'm actually going to end the stream there. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe on my YouTube. You can follow me on Twitch as well. Greatly appreciate that. As when Season 10 comes, we'll be playing through the whole expansion. And I'll be theory crafting left and right. So make sure to check in. Also, if you guys want, you can become a Twitch Prime member. Support your boy like that, or become a YouTube channel member. You can make me do whatever you want. And you'll have first dibs on my video. Huge shout out to Trev the Reg for the Prime sub. Thank you so much for the support, man. I greatly appreciate it. You have Riser1312 for the sub, and Letham's for another sub. Thank you guys so much for the support. Greatly do appreciate it, but it's getting late. I've been on stream min-maxing everything for a while here. So with that, I'm going to end the stream there, boys. Thank you guys so much for coming out. If you're new, just follow, support your homie. Of course, Red GG, thank you so much, man, for the support. Have a good one, mate. You too, dude. Hope you guys have a great rest of your